Oh, hi. Didn't see you there. Infinity Wars. This is not Infinity Wars book. This is an old X-Men. It's not that old. It's about 18 to 20 years old, this book right here. It's pretty old. I don't know, 20 years ago? Nah. Intifada. It's a X-Men Extreme book. Probably came out like in 2005 or something like that. Oh, that's better. My old eyes. My new eyes don't work as well, but there it is. So I guess I should have just titled this X-Men Extreme Intifada. And let's see, when did this come out? I think this came out in 2002 or something like that. Anyways, no way I'm missing this stream. Hello, Mr. Edwards. How are you today? Wasn't trying to get you to miss the stream, Brother Edwards. You're a comic book fan, aren't you? Didn't we talk the other day about comic books? All right, so I decided to stream about the Infiniti movie. If those of you who haven't been good, missing the one earlier. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, I did stream. Yeah, I did stream earlier. And the reason why I decided to talk about the Infinity Wars is because of what has transpired in the Infinity War. So if you haven't seen the movie, you might want to go and see the movie before you talk to me, because I'm going to talk about the movie. And what I saw in the movie, and the reason why I'll probably see it about 6 or 7 times, because to me, what's good, man? Talking about the Infinity Wars movie. If you haven't seen it already, you might want to, go and you probably won't watch it. Okay, well then you're safe, because I have watched the Infinity Wars movie and I'm going to dissect it and tell you what I've seen. And, you guys can hang around if you want. If not, I'm just going to talk about it, close out the stream. So, if you can't tell, I like comic books. I stopped reading them I stopped reading comic books. This one is from 2003. Yeah, okay, well, that's cool. I stopped reading in like 2003, 2004. I stopped collecting. I've been reading them, of course, since I was a kid, so on and so forth. And anyways, I got into collecting them pretty good, but not really, really heavy. I was somewhat a casual collector until some X-Men series came out that really, really interested me. The Weapon X series came out, really found some interest in that. Okay, but anyways, so the Infinity Wars came out. When the Infinity Wars came out in the comic books, I was a serious fan, and that's when I got serious about collecting. Pretty much X-Men, Marvel. I wasn't really heavy into Superman too tough, but I collected. I got a couple Superman. I got a couple of off-brand comic books that are pretty good. Here where I live, there was actually a store that when you went into it, you went in the basement, and there were tons and tons of books that were anything from comics to porn to whatever. And then there was another store that was right around the corner from it that had nothing but great store. I don't even think it's there anymore, but like I said, I stopped collecting. And then when I moved to Atlanta, I found a comic store that was right down the street, and that's when I started collecting some more comic books that I have over in the corner that you can see if you want. Nonetheless, so Okay, the Infinity Wars, from what I saw, it's hard to translate what you see in a comic book to the movies because there's so much story that can be told in a comic book. And when they get to the movies, it's just like, this is not within the budget. There's just way too many effects that will be needed. There's a whole cadre of artists that go and putting those movies together. And I have to say, out of all the movies I've seen on the comic books and the Marvel comic books that are building up to this, that is just beautiful. And it's not even over. What's really beautiful about it is Nick Fury was just like, yo, who's played by Samuel. He says, nobody even called me. He's like, I don't know what's going on in the Iron Man movies and the Super. He's like, I don't know. Now, when you look at Nick Fury was a white guy all the way up until like, maybe about 5 or 6 years ago. Nick Fury was a white dude who was friends with Wolverine. That was one of his best road dogs. And he wasn't this guy who stayed in a big old helicarrier. Nick Fury was a dude who was the head of S.H.I.E.L.D., but he was boots on the ground all day. Like, this dude he ran around with a gun. Him and Wolverine used to go and do stuff. Like, he's that deal. And him and Wolverine's bond is because Nick helped Wolverine balance himself out a lot once he come out of the Weapon X program. So when you look at Nick Fury, you're just like, why isn't he even in this movie? Well, I'm here to tell you that he is, but it's at the very, very end. After they roll the credits, they're letting you know Nick is going to be in the next one and all the things that work out. This is a this is a trilogy. And of course, this movie has the Mad Titan actually succeeding in what he wanted. Thanos is basically a character that came from another planet, and his planet was, and basically he's a mutant, and his mutant ability has him doing all kind of powerful things. He's huge for one. I mean, he's taller than the Hulk. I'll just put it to you like that. The Hulk is 8 feet. Okay, he's also stronger than the Hulk. He fights the Hulk in this movie just to demonstrate how strong he is. Thanos beats the Hulk up like it's not even, he just beats the Hulk up. But he's not the only character in the universe that can beat the Hulk. Nonetheless, the Hulk is competition for Thanos, but he didn't realize who he was fighting. Okay? So basically, he gets beat up in this movie. But Thanos is a mad titan. He's huge. He's super strong. And he has super regenerative powers. He also has super speed. A lot of people don't know that. Thanos has super speed, and he has a really dope intellect. He's just called the Mad Titan because of the mission that he's on, which is to wipe out half the universe. He figures what happened on his planet is happening all around the universe. So what he wants to do is take out half the population, and he wants to do this like every so often. He'll come around and be like, okay, half of you must die in order for the other half to live in happiness. All right, so he is a world conqueror. So basically, he wants the Infinity Gauntlet because it will make he gets the Infinity Gauntlet and all the stones because it makes that job just so much easier. And nobody can challenge him according to what he thinks, to his belief. Once I get the Infinity Gauntlet, which has 5 stones on it, he thinks that he can't be challenged. The Infinity Gauntlet that he has was made by a group of dwarves that live out mid-space. But the dwarves aren't dwarves. They're giant. Okay? They make Thor, who's supposed to be 7 or 8 feet, look like, a 2-foot child. They're huge. And the one that they do show, his name is Peter Dinklage. And they live on this huge this platform that spins. It's a bunch of rings that spin around, actually. And once they come together, there's a collapsed star in the center of them. And they use the power of the collapsed star to make Thor's hammer. So they made Thor an extra hammer. But basically, that's who they are. They use metal and, of course, a collapsed star to help them do whatever they need to do. This is where Thor gets his original hammer from, and this is why Thor's hammer is like nobody should be able to pick it up except Thor. I don't think Loki can pick it up either, and but Thor's sister was able to just crush it. So you have those elements, but that's where Odin got it from. Nonetheless, so I'm not going to go from the beginning to the end of the movie. I'm just going to talk about different parts of the movie. There's a major battle that happens in Wakanda, and I can't be any more happier about the fact that it happened in Wakanda. But I don't think it happened that way in the comic books. Now, bringing a fight to Wakanda's doorstep is like there could have been an easier fight. But nonetheless, they brought it there because the Vision has one of the stones in his head. The Vision has a soul stone in his head. So they brought the Vision to Wakanda in order for him to get the stone out of his head. See, they were under the belief that the stone allows Vision to live, but it's not true. The stone didn't really, the stone doesn't create Vision. It pretty much gave him all kind of powers, but that isn't what creates Vision. Vision is still Vision without the stone. He's just a more powerful Vision with the stone. Nonetheless, Vision is made up of all kind of elements. He's made up of Tony Stark's, his first sentient being that Tony Stark made. He's made up of the one that went rogue, Ultron. He has that in his head. As a matter of fact, that's how they won, because they use Vision's ability. Yeah, he's made up of Ultron. Plus, he's made up of a collective of human thoughts and efforts and things along that. This is why Vision is so dope. But he gets his power, a lot of his power from the stone. His ability to fade into just about anything, and his ability to turn rock hard solid to where something hits him, it just, it falls apart. That he gets from the Soul Stone, even though I'm not sure how, because the Soul Stone was basically, has the ability to kill and to resurrect. So this is why Thanos wanted to, it's also the last stone. This is why Thanos wanted it so bad, because Thanos wanted to eliminate half the people in the known universe and also resurrect whoever he needed. As an army, and his army just died, he could just simply resurrect them without a problem. And I'm getting to the second part of this, the movie that they haven't made yet or haven't shown yet. But nonetheless, so, there's a fight to get Vision and to get the Soul Stone from Vision. Also, the fight with Doctor Strange. If you saw the Doctor Strange movie, he used one of the stones to beat Dormammu. And he didn't really beat Dormammu. Dormammu just got really tired of him. If you look at the Doctor Strange comics and you look at basically who Dormammu is, you really can't get rid of Dormammu. In the majestic world, he's kind of the yang of the yin. He's needed, except he has his own world. And he always wants to get into our realm. That's just what he wants to do. He gets into a realm, he destroys a realm. So Doctor Strange is kind of him and Dr. Fate, they're kind of the majestic. I mean, there's a bunch of them when it comes to the magic world. There's a lot of people in the magic world. But Doctor Strange is not the strongest one in the magic world. He's the strongest one in our world of the magic world. So that's who Doctor Strange is. He's the protector of our realm in the magic world. And there's other protectors too. He's not the only one, but he's the strongest one in our realm. There's actually, when you look at the Doctor Strange movies, there's actually other beings that actually went up to Nam Parbat, other people who went up there, and they decided that they didn't want to fight that fight. They were just like, I'm not interested. Well, I watched the movies, I read the comic books, I've been at this for years. So nonetheless, when when one of the guys went to Nam the Parbat, he was like, I don't want to do this, but oh, I am a huge nerd. But when he went to Nam the Parbat, he was like, no, I don't want to do this. And the reason why he said he didn't want to do it is because the cost was too great. Now, the person who actually went up to Nam the Parbat, there's a few people who make it up there to see the monks. But the person who actually went up to Nam the Parbat, they don't show too much about him. But before Doctor Strange got his ability, he went and visited this person. It was like, how do you, do what you do as far as the magic realm? Now, the significance of this is very important when Doctor Strange was looking for a way to heal his hands. Because remember, he was an arrogant bastard who all of his effort went to his hands. He made all those millions of dollars because he was a brilliant doctor. So when you're looking at his brilliance, for one, you have to be very, very, very smart to be able to navigate through the world of magic. It's just not something you get and then boom, you're able to do all these things. Another thing is, Doctor Strange he's not a mutant. He's gifted with the ability to understand magic. So he isn't someone who just born and then boom, he's got a mutant. No, he has the ability to understand magic. It's like Tony Stark's. He's not a mutant, but he has the ability to understand electronics. Okay, it's just like Luke Skywalker has the ability to talk to electronics. That was one of Luke's biggest. Anakin. That was one of Anakin's biggest things. He was able to talk to metal objects and able to fix them and tinker around with them. That's what made one of the things that made him so dope before he became Darth Vader. But nonetheless, keeping with the Infinity Wars. So when Doctor Strange talked to the guy who went to Nam the Parbat, he noticed that he was standing there talking to him. The problem, the Jimmy Smith is the one who plays this guy. The biggest deal about that is that guy had his back crushed in an accident. He went to Nam the Parbat because he couldn't walk and no doctors could fix him. So he was like, I need help. And of course, he met with the master who's played as a woman in the movie, but he's actually a guy. And he met with the master and he told him, it's all in your head. And then, of course, he learned how to use magic. And when he showed him the magic world, he was just like, I don't want no part of that. I just wanted to be able to walk. So the guy who plays who's Jimmy Smith plays in the Doctor Strange movie actually has the ability to conjure magic just to walk. He's using magic to walk. Once Doctor Strange, before he was Doctor Strange, he still was Doctor Strange. But when he noticed this, he was just like, he was thinking of the possibilities. Anyways, so moving on, Doctor Strange is probably the most powerful person in the magic world in our realm. Okay, and that's what's needed to combat against Dormammu. And that's how he beat him. He didn't overpower Dormammu. He can't. He just simply made him no longer want to, be a part of the realm. But that's not going to last long. Anyways, moving on back into the Infinity Wars, he used it. He did it by using a stone, and that stone was the Time Stone. So the Time Stone allows you to travel through time. It allows you to see through time quickly. So in the Infinity Wars movie, Doctor Strange is hovering, and he's doing his. There's a pose that he always does when he's hovering. His legs are up, he's floating in the air, and he has his hands like this. So what he's doing is he looks like he's glitching, like he's in the Matrix, and they're just like, is he supposed to be doing that? They never saw him do that before. Well, you got to understand the people who are looking at him didn't even know he existed. They didn't even know Doctor Strange was a real person, and they know nothing about the magic world. They don't. So basically, they were like, "What are you doing?" He was like, "I was looking through different time zones." He was like, he was said, "I was trying to find an outcome to beat Thanos." And he said, "They said, how many did you look to?" He was like 14, million or whatever. It was a bunch of them. And he said, "How many of them came?" This is Tony Stark talking to him. "How many of them came out with the results of us beating him?" He said, "One." But he didn't even tell them what that one was. So eventually in the movie, after just colossal battles fighting with Thanos, Thanos fights against, the thing I loved about it is Thanos fights against Star-Lord and his crew, not all together. Rocket wasn't with him. Rocket was with Thor. He fights against the Hulk by himself. He fights against Doctor Strange by himself. He fights against Tony Stark, Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, and Star-Lord all together. And it really galvanizes, one, what they can do as a team, two, what they can do individually, and how they actually lost to the Mad Titan. But get it, he's the Mad Titan you just lost to. So it wasn't like anybody was going, you just got your ass kicked. It was just like, holy smokes, that was a hell of a fight. But, even though you lost, another thing is nanobots now. I'll get into that a little later. Sorry, my nose is just stuffed up. But nonetheless, so when they were fighting against Thanos, most of the time they fought against him, he didn't even have armor on. The only person he fought with armor on was the Hulk. Now, you just got to imagine that. You're going up against Star-Lord, Thanos' daughter that he basically, killed half the people in the world and then, taught her to be a fierce fighter. He ends up killing her. To get the soul stone, you have to give a soul, something that you care about, in order for the soul stone to reveal itself to you, and for you to take it. He ended up killing his daughter, which is Gamora, who he really, really loved. But nonetheless, she really hated him because he killed her parents, pretty much to save her, is the way he looks at it. But nonetheless, so when you see the fight that happens, I don't think I'll ever play Fortnite, but how much does it cost? Tell me how much does it cost, Nyla, and we'll see about, I don't know how you buy it or anything, but, we'll at least talk about it. Maybe get you to win a gift card or something like that. Amazon download or something like that. I don't know. Ask your mom. And if your mom says okay, then if it's affordable, we might just all of us throw in and get it for you. It's something to think about. Depends on what your grades are doing. But anyways, so when you look at the fight with Thanos, you notice that he's not in armor whatsoever. So, which is really something, because the majority of the time when you see Thanos, he's in armor in the comic books. Like, you hardly ever see him without his armor on. So I was puzzled by this, but it was basically showing you how weak the Avengers are when it comes to fighting him, even without the gauntlet. I mean, he was beating them up without the gauntlet. He had the gauntlet, but he didn't. $39.99, the highest is. Yeah, that's crazy. $39.99 is doable. $149 is not doable. But he was beating them, and but of course he had the gauntlet on all the time. He had, and he just collected the stones as you go through the movie. But nonetheless, Thanos can beat the majority of it. Matter of fact, I think he can beat all of the Avengers without. He can't beat them all together, but he can beat all of the Avengers. Just by himself. Now, the one person he would have the most problems with, believe it or not, was Brie Olsen's character. Apparently, Thanos needs to close his fist. Yeah, he needs to close his fist. So they were trying to, but well, I don't think he needs to close his fist to activate it. And I was looking at that when they were like, don't let him close his fist. What? I'm not really sure about it. Let me just say that. I'm not really sure about that. Another thing is when they attack Thanos, they have that chick on his head who was making him like sleepy. She was drawing energy from him just like she did Hugo. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not really sure about that. I think he can use those powers, and I have to look at the movie again, but I think he can use those. Okay, I think he used those powers without closing his fist, but it pretty much every time he did close his fist, you know, he used the power. But I think it's just this is a significance of power. I think he can use it without closing his fist. Nonetheless, so like I said, in the comic books, you hardly ever see Thanos without his armor on. In the movies, you see him definitely with his armor off, and he's fighting everybody. The only person that I believe that Thanos cannot beat, well, he could beat her. That's not true. But I think she'll do some real funky stuff to him without the gauntlet is Brie Olsen's character, which is the Scarlet Witch. What most people don't know is the Scarlet Witch and the Phoenix both have the ability to manipulate reality. So if the Scarlet Witch also has the ability to break apart Captain Marvel tease was lame. Captain Marvel, yeah. I think I've seen it before, but Captain Marvel was never well, Marvel is actually the guy who she gets her ability from. You know, you're talking about the female Captain Marvel? Yeah, because there's more than one Captain Marvel. But she gets her ability from Marvel, the alien Creed, you know, who actually came here to conquer her world. Yeah, he was a spy. He actually came to conquer the world. And she was just she was a scientist. Yeah, she was a scientist, and basically she got caught up in the mix of all what was going on, and she was about to get blasted, and he stopped her. He jumped in the way and stopped her from getting blasted, and then some of his ability went on to her. But her powers are sick. I mean, she's sick. Her powers are dope. But I've never been a fan of Captain Marvel. She until the Infinity Wars. Because there's a lot more people in every superhero there is in the Infinity Wars. This is just not a group of, 5 or 6, superheroes. No, it's every single one of them is in the Infinity Wars. This is why the comic book was so sick. You were just like, wait, what? The new phone app game for Marvel, they have all of them crossover X-Men with Venom. Yeah. Might be a hint. I saw the Venom trailer. I don't agree with it, but nonetheless, I was not a Venom fan, but I know that Venom was not a reporter. Venom was Eddie Brock. Kid cartoon I seen a Thanos Venom. A Thanos Venom? Wow. A Thanos Thor? You saw a Venom Thor? You know there's more than one Thor. But when you start skipping timelines, there's more than one Thor. What up, man? What up, Jones? We just we're talking about well, you saw the title. Anyway, so in the Infinity Wars, the Scarlet Witch is the only one who I think can put up a fight with Thanos. All the technology and everything you do, it just doesn't help. Tony Stark, this is the one time where Tony Stark's power his ability with manipulating the nanobites with his mind, which is so sick. A lot of people don't know Tony Stark's intellect also allows him to move at super speed. Like he can do a whole bunch of stuff. He's super strong, super speed. I mean, he's ridiculous. It really pissed me off seeing the Spider-Man with that new suit not use it to get the glove off. Yeah, but okay, I agree. But I never even thought of that. But when you look at the sequence of the fight, take my two little boys to see it next week, then you might not want to be here, bro, because that's what we're talking about. I mean, you're gonna hear stuff that's in the movie. That's why I was like, if you guys don't want to hear it, you might not want to be here. But like we're about to talk about the fight that happened with the Spider-Man suit. So that's interesting. Now the Spider-Man suit. Look, I wasn't ready for that. I was not ready for that. I was like, what in the blue blazes when I saw that suit on him? I was like, okay. But I remember seeing the Spider-Man suit in the comic books, but I wasn't a big Spider-Man fan. I'm not a big Spider-Man change fan. Like, I don't like the change. I like the old Spidey getting his ass kicked and outsmarting his partner, his people. I don't really want Spider-Man to be amped up. I want Spider-Man to be the regular wall crawler that we all see, out there getting it in, yeah. That's what I like about Spider-Man. I don't really need him to be techie because Spider-Man is brilliant. He's a brilliant young college student. And the thing about Spider-Man is he has to use his brilliance. Yeah, you like, no. Yeah, no cartridge. Yeah. I like when Spider-Man runs out of, spider fluid and he just, jumped over a huge building. I like when Spider-Man loses his powers, you know what I'm saying? I like the humanity of Spider-Man. I also like the fact that Spider-Man actually is still mutating. The spider that bit him was a genetic spider that was genetically enhanced by humans. It's one of 8 spiders. But the thing about the spider is, what the humans don't know is the spider is still mutating into something. So when it bit him, the mutagens that went from the spider to Peter Parker, or something that went into Peter Parker, is still, what it does is it mutates your genetic code. So that mutagen that they were using could be used on anything, and it would mutate their genetic code. And if that spider bites anything, it would do the same thing. So that's what I'm saying. Spider-Man actually mutates into a 8-foot spider that lives in the subways, lives in the old subways, and would eat people that come down there. That's what Spider-Man turned into. And how he got stopped is, how Spider-Man got stopped is, people were going missing. And, like bums, you're like, nobody's really tracking a bum, but regular everyday working people started going missing. And they were just like, these people are being missing. So they went down in the subways. They were just like, well, they found out what it was. It was an 8-foot spider that was eating people. And it was freaking Peter Parker, who was he was turning more and more into the spider, and he had 8 freaking legs. He had 8 freaking legs, and he was huge. He had this huge network of spider webs down there, and he was just waiting for somebody to come around, and he would snatch them and eat them. You know what I'm saying? Like, he isn't the only superhero has eat people. The Hulk ate 8 nurses. Okay, but nonetheless. So when he was in the subway eating people, he really, and this is one of the things I liked about that storyline, because it was, how do I battle against something that I'm not, I know I'm not supposed to be eating this, this dude, but I'm going to eat him because the spider hunter who goes down after him, and they send another person down there. So I don't know how they are going to cross over Deadpool. rated to others. Well, they're going to make them rated PG-13. That's what they're going to have to do. I'll read this later. Deadpool. He has some. Deadpool has. I mean, I have a couple comic books of his that are not, that dirty, but they're going to have to. They'll clean them up, just for those parts. But nonetheless, so that's just an offshoot of the, that shows what Spider-Man's growing into. But nonetheless, in the Infinity Wars, when he uses the Iron Spider, the thing about that is Spider-Man doesn't really know about the Iron Spider. This is what I don't like. The Iron Spider is basically its own entity. Spawn reboot is happening. But Spawn reboot won't have my man Michael Jai White in it. But I'll watch it. Loved the Spawn series with Michael Jai White. And the cartoons. Oh my God. The Frank Miller cartoons. Oh my goodness, it was so good. Anyway, so when Peter Parker uses the Iron Spider, he doesn't really know what it can do. And yeah. Oh, okay. Raptors opening as decent sized favorites over Cavs. That doesn't matter. Okay. The Iron Spider just seems to be a computer that has a spider suit. It's like Tony Stark, but with a spider suit. This is why I'm not really a favor of the Iron Spider at all. It really doesn't matter. The same results are going to happen. So this is why I'm not a fan of the Iron Spider, but nonetheless, it'll be interesting to see what it does and see how as far as Venom is concerned, okay. Not make suit. It'll be interesting, the story between 21 to 1, huh? That's huge. 1,000 with that. That's a lot. But it'll be interesting because, of course, the spider suit, the new Iron Spider suit, makes him even stronger than the Venom suit that he had on. So, well, let's see. It makes him even stronger. No, they didn't skip it. That's because Captain America knew about. You got to understand, Bucky was in Wakanda. It was the safest place for Bucky to be. They hid him in Wakanda. So Tony Stark doesn't even know that Bucky is in Wakanda. You know what I'm saying? Tony Stark is fighting on Thanos' home planet. You know what I'm saying? And he hasn't gotten back from there yet. Don't forget, he isn't the one that made that call to call Captain America. Somebody else called Captain America. So Tony Stark and Captain America still haven't seen each other. They don't even know. And Bucky he's so far from Captain America. It's just like, so there is no hookup between them yet. Wakanda and Tony Stark hooking up. No, there's no hookup yet. Iron Man just has a new suit out of the blue. No, that's not out of the blue. It comes from the last movie. From the last movie that those two were in. The last Spider-Man Homecoming, or whatever that was. What he did was he wanted to introduce Spider-Man into the Avengers. And he was like, if you come into the Avengers, this is your new suit. And Spider-Man was like, nah, I'm going to go back home and just be a college student and be a web slinger there. So that suit didn't come out of nowhere. That suit came, Iron Man had been made that suit for who he called underoos. Remember? So yeah, that also came. Tony Stark was making that movie or making that. He was thinking about the kid or underoos when they fought up with him, War Machine, and them fought up against Black Widow, and because of the accords that Captain America didn't want to sign. So he had already made that outfit for him. His regular outfit, he made that for him with, remember when he came and took Captain America's shield and he landed on the truck and he said, "Hi, everyone." And when he did that, his eyes went like this. That was all Captain America allowed him to use those focus lenses like that. So that little scene right there let you know that Captain America, not Captain America, but Tony Stark had done stuff to his outfit. He created the whole outfit, but you can tell that some of the outfit was mechanical. The regular Spider-Man outfit that he has, it has mechanical aptitudes in it. He was actually using them in the movie, and also that the old outfit that he was wearing, he was able to talk to Friday, and he was like, "Okay, what can this do?" And this one can shoot firebombs. This one can shoot this. And so there's mechanics built into the one that he's swinging around in New York before the Iron Spider. So all of that was already in the works. It didn't come out of nowhere, you know. He just didn't want to wear the Iron Spider suit. He's just like, "Nah, I'll wear this other fancy one you built me, but I don't want to wear that one yet." So there's that. If you look at the stories and, match them up, you'll be like, "Oh, okay, I've seen this before." You know what I'm saying? Anyway, so I did like the fact that they bring Bucky, of course, Captain America, that's his boy. He's not trying to see him die. But what was interesting to me is the Wakandans call him the White Wolf, is they took his arm from him. Remember, that's where they hit him at the end of, I forgot what movie that was when they were all fighting, but that's where they took him to Wakanda, but they took his arm off, and I'm sure they took his arm off so he couldn't, just go and beat everybody up. But, you're in Wakanda, every single person there is a fighter. So he would probably get his head cut off. But nonetheless, he's still Bucky. If you say those words to him, then he's going to go right into fight mode. But Zemo doesn't know where he's at either. And what a lot of people don't understand about Zemo is he has, it's not a super soldier serum, but it was kind of like it. So Zemo has like that he's super strong now too. So he'll, you got to look out for him and AIM and all those guys. They'll be probably doing more stuff if they continue to go down that route, which I think they will, because Zemo broke out of the jail that they had him in. So I think you'll be seeing more is called, so you'll see more of that. But nonetheless, when the fight in Wakanda was very interesting, because Thanos has an army. He has 1, 2, 3 generals, and then they have an army of creatures with forearms you never seen before. But what interested me was Thanos in the beginning of the movie, when he went to Gamora's planet and he killed all those people, that army that he didn't use that army to go ahead and fight. He didn't use that army at all. As a matter of fact, they were the Chitauri, the people who attacked New York, and with the flying 25-ton huge monsters, and all the metal and all that stuff. He had those guys, run around with them. So it made me look at that and go, are all the Chitauri dead now? Wiped out, completely gone? So where are they? And I don't think that they're all wiped out, but that nuclear bomb that blew up their ship, that is a good indication that there's just not that many of them anymore. anymore. But I was like, okay, where are the Chitauri? It could be that they're all wiped out. But nonetheless, they use a bunch of mindless animal killing machines, basically, is what they were. I don't know what planet or what alien, planet they came from. You don't really know too much about them, and I wish you did, because for one, they're all the same height, they're all the same speed, they're all the same strength, and to me, that's kind of like a way of just. To me, that's kind of it's almost a way of copping out. If this guy is conquering worlds, and any conqueror, even on this planet, they usually adapt part of that army and assimilate and say, okay, you're going to work for me or else. And that's how, that's how the Persian army got so big. That's how the Roman army got so big. Okay, that's how Attila the Hun got so big, and so on and so forth. So I was like, well, where's everybody else? You have your 3 generals fighting on this plane of existence while you're fighting on your home world. But who did you conquer, and where are they? Why aren't they fighting here? It just made me look at it and go, okay, I guess we'll just find these mindless beasts, that just know how to scream and kill. It just, wasn't too exciting for me. Nonetheless, I enjoyed watching Scarlett Johansson's character fight with the general of the Dora Milaje. I liked those 2 women fighting together. When I first saw Black Panther, I was like, I would love to see those 2 fight against each other, because neither one of them have mutant abilities. They're just peak performance enhanced humans. So with a lot of knowledge on how to fight, and I would say Scarlett Johansson's character is, the Black Widow, is probably more a better fighter. And if you notice, like in the trailers before the Black Panther came out, one of the Dora Milaje, this huge black woman, she was, walked up to her and said, "Move, or I will move you." And Scarlett looked at her and then she smiled like, "Yeah, I'll take that fight." You know what I mean? So that made me go, I would love to see that fight. Doctor Strange is hard to fight. Doctor Strange is not hard to fight. He's hard to understand. He'll just warp your reality and make you think you're in the middle of an ocean, and you'll drown yourself on your own thoughts. But if you understand magic, you'll understand all the worlds that are all together and how magic works and how you travel through those worlds. See, that's why Doctor Strange was the chosen one for this realm after, the other monk that taught him died. It's because of his intellect and because of his ability to understand magic. Remember, Doctor Strange was able to see magic before he knew what it was. When Dormammu came through the children in the cartoons, he was trying to come through the children because the children were a gateway as long as they slept. Doctor Strange was able to, they were like, what's wrong with all these kids? Doctor Strange was trying to work on it, and then he actually saw Dormammu. Now, if he wasn't, he didn't have the gift to see and understand magic, he would have never saw Dormammu. It would have been like, these kids are just sleeping, so what? You know what I'm saying? But also when the monks came to where Doctor Strange lived and they were fighting them, one of them hit his car, and they were fighting this huge magical beast that he to cast over this beast and to hide themselves. Well, when Doctor Strange wrecked his car, he was able to not only see the beast, he saw all the monks that were fighting it. And they looked at him and he looked at them and they were going, he just saw us. So there's only very few people through a spell. He saw through a spell. That right there just showed his intellect. He was one of the greatest doctors on the planet too. So he's hard to understand. Once you understand him, then you're able, to fight either with or for him. It's a good chance you're gonna lose, but nonetheless, someone who can And whenever somebody puts the helmet on, they become Dr. Fate. Dr. Fate he's almost like a parasite. You know, once you put that helmet on, he lives through you. It's kind of like the Phoenix Force in Jean Grey. The Phoenix Force is a god-like force that creates and destroys in a second. But the reason why it took over Jean Grey is because the Phoenix Force never knew emotion. So it kept Jean Grey. And it somewhat destroyed her. But they had to destroy Jean Grey to get the entity out of her, but it just doesn't work like that. If the entity wanted to remake her right there in front of everybody and blow up the whole world, the Phoenix Force could do that. But the Phoenix Force would not go into somebody that wouldn't be able to handle it. And this is why Jean Grey was chosen, because she's an alpha level mutant. Like any normal mutant would not have been able to do that. The Phoenix Force would have just burned them up, and that would have been it. So the people who wear Dr. Fate's helmet have to be magic. Like the person who's Dr. Fate now is actually the girl who speaks backwards and uses magic. I forgot what her name is, but she usually runs around with the Teen Titans. Well, she had to take over the mantle of Dr. Fate and wear the helmet because why? She can understand magic. You know, she has a high intellect in the magical arts. You guys will see a lot of this if you go and look at the Teen Titans that are on Amazon and download the movies, not the animations, the movie animations, and or you go and you look at you know what? And skip all that, because I'm just remembering that's DC. Skip all that. That's what oh man, I might have lost you guys. I lost myself in that. Dr. Fate is DC, so skip that. This is Marvel. Okay. Anyways, so yeah, Doctor Strange is hard to understand, and this is why he can beat most people, because they just don't know that these other worlds exist. And yeah. Okay, so getting to, I guess, the Marvel is better than DC. Depends. Batman in the comic books is a lot deeper than Marvel. If you look at Batman trade paperbacks and get into where Batman was a shaman, it'll change your mind on that. You'll be like, holy smokes, who wrote this? But, and see, Marvel also has trade paperbacks. I used to read the real thick ones. The real thick trade paperbacks, they really show you, they give you more detail on and they expand your imagination when it comes to the fighting abilities of all of the Marvel characters. Like the Juggernaut actually fought against oh shoot. Okay, for one, the Juggernaut is not a mutant. So when you looked at the movies that came out about 10 years ago and it had the Juggernaut in it, whenever Leech, the mutant that's able to cancel other people's mutant abilities, this is what, who will win, Batman or Iron Man? I don't know. And the only reason why I don't know is because they both have an extreme intellect. Okay, well, let's do it like this. In the DC world, Batman is the smartest detective that there is. His deductive reasoning is on par to know even Sherlock Holmes in the future came to look for him. So he's the greatest tactician that there is, point blank, on the planet. So when you have that type of intellect, but no power, it still makes you formidable in anything that you do because you are very calculated. Not a few fights. He's lost against Bane. He's lost against Owlman. Owlman beat him up. But nonetheless, Batman isn't out to kill. Bane and Owlman, you know, they were out to pretty much kill. I would have to go probably with Iron Man, though, now that I'm thinking about it, because Iron Man's intellect he's probably the smartest when it comes to technology that there is. Like he says his math is always right. Tony Stark can see mathematically through a problem that most people just don't get, or it would take them a while to work it out. This was illustrated in Iron Man 2, in Iron Man 2, when he went and picked up his father's the boards that his father had made of the new this park and all the stuff that his father wanted to make, but it actually wasn't. His father knew that his son was going to be, or his son was super smart. So what he did was he created another form of a synthetic material to power Tony Stark's, but he wasn't really making it for an arc welder, whatever that is. That wasn't what his father was making it for. His father was making it for a new way to power the world. That's why he was like, if you take this and, manipulate it, it can be a new power source other than the power sources that we're using, because eventually they'll wear out. That's where his father was going with that. And, of course, now Tony Stark wears it in his chest, and that's even changed. So when you're looking at both those dynamics, Tony Stark can weaponize something a lot more effectively than Batman can. Batman has lost hand-to-hand combats plenty of time, but his reasonability and his reasoning and his deduction of a fight is what makes Batman completely, just a dangerous person. They're both billionaires, so it's not hard to get what they need to fight you. But I would say that Batman would probably build a machine, just like he did against Superman, and he defeated Superman. But even though the machines he built were able to handle some of Superman's blows, some of them, Superman was not trying to kill Batman. So Batman eventually had to use the same thing he always uses, which is kryptonite. And I don't know why Superman doesn't see this coming by now, but he used kryptonite. Tony Stark doesn't have a kryptonite. So I would say if they got into a fight, Batman would already study who he's fighting, and it's a good chance that he would go for the arc reactor that's in Tony Stark's chest. He figured, this is your power, this is what I'm going to go for. So it'd be an interesting fight, but that's pretty much what happened. But on a hand-to-hand level, if they fought, I would take Batman all day. But on a technological level, it's not even a question. So that's mine. Where was I? I hope I answered your question as best as I could. Okay, so the vibranium in Wakanda. This is what I don't understand. You have a mountain of build all these technological weapons, all these weapons. What makes you think a war was not going to come to your door? Now, they put this shield around them, right? And these animals are, breaking through the shield. So they opened part of the shield so they could come in one way because they didn't want to be surrounded and the army to get behind them, which was brilliant. But here's my thing. The only technological, for one, no ships came out like you saw in the original Black Panther with all that technology and these ships that came out and did all, no ships. I'm like, don't you think this is time for some ships to come out of nowhere, bro? You have a mountain, a meteor full, a geode full of this element that enhances you beyond anyone in the world. No ships came out to fight when you need them the most. All you saw was the Dora Milaje and all the other tribes with these, I was like, no, you would have saw hundreds of ships come up out the ground and it wouldn't have even been no competition. I'd have been like, boop. Over. Next, what happened? Okay, I'm going to lunch. You know what I'm saying? That type of deal. So I don't understand that. Plus, when you really start to get in what Wakanda is and how they got that way, for one, you'll already know, if you look at the Wakanda's past, Wakanda without the animanium was already, or not the animanium, the vibranium was already a dope fighting force long before the rock, they discovered, the rock and all that other stuff. They were a fighting force. They fought against other tribes and they ripped their heads off every time. And they would warn them, do not come over here. But other tribes wanted to challenge, they always want to challenge who's the best fighters. And they would go into their territory and they would do stuff like they would have traps for them. So and this is in the loincloth days with the spears. This is not in the gun days. This is with the spears. These tribes going out with spears. They would have these traps that would come up and trap your whole body in like a bear claw type of trap. It wouldn't be something that would your leg. It would be your whole body, and these spikes would go through your whole body. I mean, they have some wicked stuff. Like look at some of the stuff on Amazon on the story of Wakanda, and long before T'Challa and his father was there, long time ago, and look at how they fight. You'll be like, oh, they was never no joke. Not at all. You know what I mean? But when they start using vibranium, of course it advanced them to just a ridiculous level of being. And then when you look at the Black Panther, the mantle of Black Panther, and not so much the outfit, but the stuff they take, the heart-shaped, plant that they take. It just puzzled me, Black Panther. I'm just like, no, because when you weren't Black Panther, your sister took over, and she drank the stuff too, and she had the superpowers. And then Killmonger, he came to the. Now the thing about Killmonger is Killmonger had no superhuman abilities. He was just a superhuman. What he did was he trained himself to be as strong as the Black Panther who took the superhuman stuff. So this is a peak performance human fighting up against the Black Panther. And just drink that in. And he didn't grow up in Wakanda. He grew up in America. He just grew up to be a super dope fighter because he knew who he had to face. And eventually he got killed off. But nonetheless, he still was a match for anybody in Wakanda just with his regular genetics. So I just thought that was dope. You can go and look into Killmonger and who he was. But yeah, he just had peak human performance, kind of like Scott Summers. Scott Summers he has peak human performance, and his intellect over direction and misdirection is it's hard to fathom how he can do that. I mentioned this the other day. Scott Summers, with the ruby quartz and optic blast, optic sweep, and all that with the optic blast, his ability comes from another dimension. That's not coming from the sun, and he's using the sun's power, and no. He uses the sun power to power himself, but Scott is a walking dimension. Just wrap your head around that. So whenever he shoots you with an optic blast, that came from another world. Yeah, that's who Scott Summers is. Super dope though. And whenever he stays, if he goes underground and he stays there for a long time, he goes back to normal. But he always sees in red. He never sees in any other color but red. But he can take his ruby quartz glasses off and just walk around like anybody else as long as he's underground. but as soon as the sun hits him, his eyes will light everything up, So there's that. So anyway, so that was one of my questions in the movies. Like, why didn't they have these big old ships come out and do their thing? They showed us the power of the ships in, the Black Panther. And I was like, well, why are we not using this now in the most important fight, of your life? And it's not like you didn't know it was coming. You know what I'm saying? It's not like you don't have them sitting around. We didn't see that one ship. You saw platforms, and they all arrived on these platforms, but it was just like, these platforms aren't gunships. I like, no, you really want to take a hand-to-hand fight with a bunch of aliens. I have some confidence for you. If a bunch of aliens landed on Earth right now, we're just like, we have all this firepower. We're not going to use it. We're just going to go out hand-to-hand. Come on. I was like, nah. Nonetheless, it's still a good movie. So that fight was very interesting. There was a fight that took place when Captain America showed up with the Falcon, and also with the Black Widow. The Falcon, the Black Widow, yeah, there was only 3 of them. So the 2 generals were trying to get the Soul Stone out of the Vision. And one thing I didn't understand is, okay, so one of the generals had a type of sickle type of knife. And when he attacked the Vision with it disrupted his ability to fade. And so he was fighting like he was sick the whole time. I was like, well, you still have your flight. They showed him use his flight. He obviously has a super strength, but he didn't have his ability to fade. And Vision has a lot of power, just like John Stewart or John Jones. John Stewart or someone. Oh, I'm sorry. That's DC again. No, I'm sorry. I'll stay away from DC. Anyways, so Vision has a lot of different powers. And even though he couldn't use his fading power, I just didn't know why he wasn't able to use his other powers. So I need to look, read up on Vision some more. But fading, flight, he didn't use the beam that comes. Yeah, okay, you go back to the last movie with the Vision in it, where he hurt War Machine. Iron Man called on Vision to knock out the retro. He wanted to knock out the airplane that Captain America was in when they were getting away. It was flying faster than Tony Stark could fly, which is another thing. Tony Stark has blue jets. And I'm like, why did that whole sequence take place? You have blue jets. You illustrated that you can fly faster than a Raptor. Okay, and I'm like, okay, so you can't fly faster than this Quinjet? Like, this thing wasn't doing Mach 2 or 3. You know what I'm saying? But nonetheless, he calls on Vision. He's like, Vision, go ahead and, knock out their engines. Vision looks up, focuses, a beam comes out of the Soul Stone. I'm like, why did you not use this same, thing to knock out these guys who are attacking you now? So it just seemed like they weren't using all of their abilities that, we know that they could use in this fight. And I didn't understand why. It was a great movie though, but I didn't understand why there was all this holding back. Even Tony Stark seemed to be holding back. Now, one person who definitely held back, one person who wasn't holding back, Peter Parker wasn't holding back. He was using everything he could from the limited knowledge that he had. Because you got to understand, he's never fought anything like Thanos before, and he's never fought with the Iron Spider on. So everything was just like, oh my God, I didn't know that I could do that. You know what I'm saying? So there's that whole thing. Another thing is Peter Quill. Peter Quill helps his father die, Hugo, right? His father is a god. Peter Quill, Star-Lord is half human, half god, okay? But all of his powers comes from his father, who the whole planet was part of his father. So his father made Peter Quill and a bunch of other offspring, which all died, made Peter Quill because he was trying to harness his power to, in order to, it was some weird he needed to do, but that's the only reason why he procreated. He turned himself into a human. He would turn himself into all kind of alien creatures and mate with the female aliens, trying to find a perfect match that could harness his power. And so when he did that, and he ran into his son, he was just like, because Peter's been looking for his dad, he's just like, yeah, I'm your dad. At the end of the movie, it's just like, yeah, I don't really love you. I really needed you to do, something. So they end up killing him, right? But he told him, he said, if you kill me, you can no longer use this power. So what up, Gibson? We talking about, comic books and stuff, man. So he told him, he said, you can no longer use this power. He said, you kill me, you don't have this power. So Star-Lord is a god that has no godlike powers. Yeah, we into it, man. We into the Infinity Wars. So he's a god that has no godlike powers. So it's just like, wait, what? Not at all. If you look at all of the people who are on Guardian of the Galaxies, the only one who has superpowers is the tree. The raccoon doesn't have superpowers. He just has a really dope understanding of all weapons. But it's not exactly, well, I guess that's his superpower, Whenever the raccoon sees a gun, he understands how to use it. Pretty much any gun. Peter Quill has no power. He just doesn't. He just has really cool gadgets, but he doesn't have any power. Or maybe the power is just sitting in him, but that would take away what Star-Lord is. It would, if he started, it would take that all away, because all of his fighting skills are in his gun and in that helmet, jet flying all over the world. That's really what that is. The green chick who's now dead, Gamora, she's just a really dope hand-to-hand fighter, her and her sister. Her sister is a part of a machine, though. Her sister is actually a machine. But her sister is an adopted sister. And then you have the tree, which is Groot. Groot he's the only one that has, different types of, powers and stuff like that. And then you have, that's it. There's 4 of them, right? Oh, Drax. I think his power is super strong. He might, I think he's a super strong dude, because he actually tries to fight Thanos, hand to hand, and that just doesn't go well. So I guess he has superpowers, But it's just, how are these guys the Guardian of the Galaxy? Just like, wait a minute. You guys aren't super powered up. Now, I can see the, the Nova Corps. You guys know who the Nova Corps is? All right, if you don't know who the Nova Corps is, Nova, is it Sam Guthrie? No, that's Cannonball. Sam Guthrie is Cannonball. Nova is actually a superhero that's on Earth. He has a power of flight, and he has energy coming out of his body. There's actually a Nova Corps. There's actually a whole bunch of people who are just like him. And they show it in one of the movies. They show the actual Nova Corps. But they, a lot of superheroes that you see on Earth, there are hundreds and thousands of them in other worlds, on the same plane of existence. Just like Superman. Superman, his power comes from the sun. But there was a whole planet of people like him. Just imagine if they all came. Well, you seen when some other ones came to the planet, they all got superpowers. You can't trust them? I don't understand when you say you can't trust them. What do you mean you can't trust them? don't understand what you mean. Anyways, so I mean, I'll read your explanation when you write it. But so a lot of superheroes that you see, there are other people that are just like them. I heard the social injustice warriors are plaguing the companies. Why? Why? You mean for the Marvel comics? Or for the Marvel, I don't understand why. They kind of went after the Black Panther a little bit, but the Black Panther is going to be it is one of the most highest grossing movies ever. And it's not even 3 months old. I mean, yeah, well, they're making a boatload of money off of Thor was crazy. Yeah, crazy. Spider-Man's money was just ridiculous. But the Black Panther has put all of them to shame. I'm serious. The Black Panther has, the thing about it, I don't think they're going to be able to outdo the Black Panther. It's made more money than the Titanic. Because they are pushing inclusion and inclusiveness. You got to explain that to me, bro. I don't understand that. Anyways, I think I covered all of the movie without covering, the whole thing in great detail, just different parts of it. And from what I know, as far as the comics are concerned, X-Men. I have a bunch of these comic books, by the way. I even had the Infinity Wars. I don't know what I did with it. It came out that they think that the bully the companies into doing what they want. Yeah. You know what bullies the companies into doing what they want? Ticket sales. They come out with a movie and it sucks. Okay, let's put it like this. The Fantastic Four sucked. They keep trying to do the Fantastic Four and it keeps sucking. Then they changed the character of the Fantastic Four and it still sucked. It just sucked. Your movie sucks. They changed the origin of the Fantastic Four and the way it's done. They changed, they tried to put a sexy person in there to make Susan Richard this sexy. And, the writing is wrong. Everyone included. Okay, for one, the Infinity War includes everyone. It includes the Infinity War includes everyone. Okay, so I don't know how they're gonna do it, but there are literally thousands of superheroes, thousands of them. So I have no idea how they're going to do it, but it includes everyone. Fighting on all kind of realms and stuff like that. It's just, when you read the comic books, you'd be like, oh, man, I don't see how y'all going to do this. But so far, they're doing good. So far, for what you see, because and look, for some reason, they like to think that every superhero lives in New York. It's like, the Shi'ar Empire is part of it. You know what I'm saying? They don't live in New York. Storm, she doesn't come from New York. As a matter of fact, I think the Shi'ar Empire are in the Infinity Wars. If you don't know who the Shi'ar Empire is, let me know. I'll explain it to you. Reasons why they bully is because they weren't being, as they claim, diverse enough and claim that they should not have white males. What? They need to read the comic books. Okay, Thor, all right, white males all day. No. This is one, listen, listen. Okay, Lord of the Rings. I complain about Lord of the Rings. All right, it is a movie that where everything white is good and everything black is bad. All right. I mean, yeah, where everything black is bad. Okay, Lord of the Rings is one of the most racist movies. You know what I'm saying? Everything black is just terrible. Like everything white is good. Shadowfax is pure white. He's the Lord of all horses. Get the shut up. Gandalf the Grey turns to Gandalf the White. Saruman the White. Saruman the White is the only white thing in the Lord of the Rings trilogy that turns out to be bad. Okay, everything else is the Black Riders, the Nazgul black, the Ring Race black, like everything in it is like, come on, the freaking the orcs black, and the orcs at one time were elves white. The fairest creatures in the whole land are elves. The woodland realm elves white. Okay, get out of here. It's like, come on, man. I'm not trying to, hear all that. You know what I'm saying? But nonetheless, it's good. It's Gerald talking, so it's good. But there is no basis for complaining when Samuel L. Jackson was in a lot of these movies, and that is the blackest man on earth. Not his color. He is in every essence of the word. That is a black dude. He was a crackhead before he got into all this movie stuff. You also know he went to Juilliard. Like, Samuel L. Jackson is the dopest dude on the planet. And to my knowledge, he's done more movies than anyone else on the planet, including Tom Cruise. Okay? So, no, if you got Samuel L. Jackson in one of your movies, no, you got no complaint from me. I am telling you, man, these people claim that they are for equality, but it's like they're not. No, they're not. They have their own agenda. You know what I'm saying? And Samuel L. Jackson is in the Infinity Wars, okay? He's actually in the movie that's just now out, but he's in a small clip at once the credits roll, because everybody was sitting there looking at the credits and looking at their phone. But as soon as it got quiet again, boom, there's a clip with him in the hill. You know what I'm saying? And his character was actually white. Samuel Jackson's character was actually white in the comic books, but they changed it, and then they changed it to look like him in They Went to Neighborhood. He didn't run around looking like Shaft. Okay, his character looked like a military, person. You know what I'm saying? But now he looks like freaking Shaft. It's just like, no. Not to mention, you have the Falcon. He's black. You know what I'm saying? There are so many black. The new Spider-Man is black. The new one. Well, he's actually Latino. Shoot. But, and I saw a clip, that they coming out of him. I forgot Miles is what his name is. And he's actually talking to Peter Parker, and he's like, wait a minute, how many other are we? There's a few different Spider-Men out there. There's a Spider-Girl too, or Spider-Woman. Spider-Woman's power is her sting is different because I think she's super strong, but she actually has the power of flight, and her sting comes from her body. It doesn't come from it doesn't tend to be commented, but in the video games as well. Yep, yeah, an agenda is an agenda. So they're using, I mean, listen, even the Defenders that are on Netflix, listen, in the comic books and in the animations, the Defenders, who is Luke Cage, Iron Fist, who actually dies, Iron Fist, Jessica Jones, and Luke Cage, Iron Fist, Jessica Jones, and Daredevil. Daredevil all living in New York. And Daredevil is actually in Hell's Kitchen, well, it's part of New York. But all living in, one lives in New York, the other one, two of them live in Brooklyn, and Danny actually lives downtown New York. Who's Iron Man? But all of them are the Defenders. They're in the Infinity Wars. You see them in the Infinity Wars in the comic book. They actually get called on, especially Luke Cage, because he's super strong whenever the Hulk leaves. So if the Hulk's not there, there are some other people who are super strong. Like they might call on Peter, who lives out there in upstate New York. The Rusky, they might. What up? Yeah, they might call on, Peter to come and help them out. But, when Peter's not there and everybody's off doing a mission, they will call on Luke Cage because he is strong. Okay? He is bulletproof. He's strong. And the way they had the guy who's playing Luke Cage now, I love that actor. He also plays Commander Locke in Halo. He plays Commander Locke in Halo, a Spartan. I love that actor, but they haven't unlocked all his strength. Like, you with the whole, when you look at the Defenders, you see him doing some things and some fight moves and stuff, some of the stuff he does. You don't hardly see him using all the strength that he has. He's nowhere near as strong as a Hulk. There's no one on the planet who can fight the Hulk straight up and win, even though Peter Parker did punch him into space before. So Peter is super, super, super strong. But nonetheless, Luke Cage is, he's a very, very strong dude, but they don't show using all of his ability. And the fact that his skin is bulletproof, is also a plus. It actually helps him in a lot of fights. It's not just that okay, I'll put it to you like this. His skin is his armor. So, when you see the Juggernaut fighting, usually the Juggernaut fighting, he has armor on. Well, Luke Cage's skin is his armor. So, wrap your head around that. But if Luke Cage and the Juggernaut ever fought, Luke Cage would lose. Hands down. That would be it. He might get a good hit on the Juggernaut once or twice, but the Juggernaut would knock him across the planet. But nonetheless, he could probably pick up a bus or something and, do whatever. They don't show him really doing all he can, because the Luke Cage that I've seen in the comic book, this dude can move a car like nothing. He'll take a car and just, like they don't really show him doing it. They show him like ripping off a door or something like that. But Jessica can do that. Jessica can lift up the back of a van like it's nothing. Luke Cage is stronger than Jessica. You know what I'm saying? Not to mention, Jessica's ability is for one, her strength, and she can't fly, but she can jump in or jump down from a very high level. So I'm not exactly sure what that is, but when it comes to scaling a building, Jessica can actually jump 2 or 3 flights, like boom, land on top of the building and keep going. You know what I'm saying? She can also jump down from that same distance and just land like it ain't nothing. You know what I'm saying? So there's that. But they are in the Infinity Wars. When I say everybody's in it, everybody's in it. The only people who you don't see in it, but you know that they're in it, are the Morlocks. I don't know if you guys know about the Morlocks. If you don't, I'll be more than happy to tell you about it if one of you asks me about it. But the Morlocks you don't see in the Infinity Wars, but they're in it. So there's that. Also, another person you don't see, you hardly ever hear about, is Mjolnir. Mjolnir is Storm's son. Storm and I think T'Challa. I think it's Storm and T'Challa's son, because I know that they get married. I think he's their son, but tell them people in Marvel still have rebel thoughts. Okay. I mean, I don't really know what to say about that because I don't know who's attacking them. But Mjolnir his ability is he's super fast. and I mean super fast. And you don't really have a lot of speedsters in the Marvel universe. You have pretty much one, and that's Pietro, and he's dead. You know, he died, you know, protecting Wachovia. But I would love to see Mishmari come out of nowhere and just, as a child, you know what I'm saying? I would love to see it, but they never go that direction and bring off those, you know what I'm saying? There's just a whole bunch of characters that you don't ever really hear about that I would love to see some of these characters. There's one character, he doesn't have a stomach. You know, he doesn't have a stomach. He has these two bug-like creatures that go out and eat for him. And they can pretty much eat anything. But the thing about it is when they eat, when he's hungry and they go out and eat for him, he turns super, super strong. Like you know, but like I said, there's a lot of characters that you won't see in the Infinity Wars, but you know that they're in it because it involves the whole planet. You know what I'm saying? So those are just some, you know. You'll see Havoc in there, and then Havoc and his crew. Havoc has a whole crew. Like you probably won't see Domino, but you know she's in there. And I'd love to see Domino. If you don't know who Domino is, well, actually, scratch that. You're getting ready to see Domino because the next Deadpool movie, Domino, I think, is in. Yeah. Domino is his girlfriend. Yeah, Domino's his girlfriend. And the Domino they have in there, she doesn't have the patch over her eye. Domino has an eye that has, it's not a patch, but it's just this black, looks like a birthmark. Domino's ability is, well, definitely feminism. Domino's ability is she has the Domino's ability is she has the power of luck. Yeah, she has the power of luck. Matter of fact, is her and Deadpool beats her up. Domino also fights with a sword. You know, so she's pretty doggone good with the sword. Shatterstar, you don't hear nothing about Shatterstar. Shatterstar is a human from another planet who he doesn't have any enhanced abilities when it comes to superhuman, but he has super dexterity. And he's kind of like a Gambit, but he uses two swords. He fights with two swords that has two blades. So it's like fighting with four swords. So whenever Shatterstar comes at you, you know, he's super dexterity. You know, he can do all these flips and stuff like that. He loves to fight. He also wears armor, but he's super dope. Yeah, so Domino's power is luck. She has the power of luck. That's her, and she's a mutant. So if she needs something to go her way, her mutant ability will help her either get out of trouble or it'll be something where luck is just on her side. But she fights with Cable, and Cable fights Deadpool in the next movie coming out. So I don't think that's an accident that you're going to see Cable, because Cable's from the future. This is how important Cable is. This is how important Cable is. Cable is a person that comes from the future where the world is pretty much gone all to hell. You know what I'm saying? And Cable's body, half of it is a metal that is trying to actually get away from him and just destroy him. When you see him with the metal arm and his eye that lights up, Cable is Jean Grey and Scott Summers' kid. Yeah, he's their child in the future. That's who Cable is. And the thing about Cable is he can use some of Jean Grey's power. He can use some of both of their power. But he's using that power all the time to keep his arm intact.
So it's really crazy because if you ever, for one, you can't kill Cable. It's just very hard to do. But if whenever they show Cable like go out of control, his arm will start breaking up, and then the metal will start coming alive and doing all kind of stuff. So he's keeping the metal in control with his psychic ability. Cable's really, really dope. And whenever he needs to do something, he has a van. And he has a van. He also, I think he has a spaceship. And whenever he needs to go somewhere, he'll say body slide. Body slide. So he'll body slide from like Chicago to New York in an instant. It's nothing. You know, he'll end up being there. There's a couple beings that come from the future. One being that comes from the future ends up beating the X-Men and killing them. And that is not Hannibal. Oh my God, I forget this creature's name, but it's actually a machine. And oh my goodness, it's not Hannibal. It's named after a great warrior. Nimrod. Yeah, it's called Nimrod. And Nimrod is from the future. And it's actually kind of like one of the giant robots that they were trying to use to destroy mutants. Well, Nimrod is that same robot, but it's a futuristic version that just is very hard to stop. Well, it comes to the past and it goes at it with the X-Men. So nobody can really beat it. And then when you go into the future, the only one that survives is Wolverine. And, well, Wolverine and Scott survive for a while. And what happens is they're enemies. You know, but this is what happens is they're enemies, and Wolverine is like an underground kind of leader. You know, he would lead a whole, group of people that are underground, and Scott turns into kind of like almost a bad guy. And Wolverine and Scott actually got into a big fight, and Scott uses optic blast to cut off Wolverine's hand. But when he did it, Wolverine was in mid-swipe and cut one of Scott's eyes out. So Wolverine has one hand. So it doesn't have a hand here. It's a stump. And Scott doesn't have an eye. It's a patch. So just let you know how that goes. They've always hated each other because Wolverine slept with Jean Grey. So just some other stuff in the comic books. Anyways, guys, got any questions? I think this is actually Rogue. This is supposed to be Rogue. And for those of you who don't know about Rogue, the way that Rogue is being portrayed in the comic books, right? Well, not in the comic books, in the movie, it's wrong. Rogue actually gets her ability from Captain Marvel. Yeah. What she does is she grabs a hold of Captain Marvel and siphons off all of her power. That's why Rogue is able to fly and has super strength and all that other stuff. She's already a mutant, but she's a leech. So she actually gets a hold of Captain Marvel and doesn't let go. And she, absorbs all of this alien, super strength and all that, and she can just fly now. She can fly and she has super strength along with her other abilities. Rogue is also Mystique's child, but she's not her child by birth. Mystique snatched her up when she was young, and she fooled her is what she did. She turned into somebody else, and then Rogue found out as she grew up that her mother doesn't really look like that. Mystique can turn into anything she wants. They have Mystique in the movies just turning into a blue person and then turning into somebody else's face. That's not what Mystique is. Mystique can turn into anything she wants. If she wants to turn into a cat, she can do it. So she's not just a face. Like, she can turn into different stuff. That's why Mystique is so dope. Mystique has also lived for a very, very long time. She's a lot older than what she looks. So she's,
that's one of her abilities. She doesn't age very well. She's like Wolverine. Her cells can regenerate and do a bunch of, different stuff. So, but Mystique is Rogue's mother, adopted mother. But Mystique is actually Kurt Warner's real mother. So Kurt, who is the blue devil looking dude, and Rogue are adopted brother and sister. Let y'all know that. And actually, when Kurt uses his ability, you guys know what I'm talking about. When he uses his ability, he's the one that looks like a devil, a demon, which is actually, that's exactly what he is. And when he uses his ability, he travels through hell. He disappears, and when he comes back out, he disappears, he goes poof. And when he comes back out, poof. He travels through the dimension of hell when he does that. That's why he smells like brimstone, fire and brimstone. That's why he smells like that. He goes poof, poof. He travels through hell. So it's pretty cool. But nonetheless, it's in such an instant that, it's not like he's burning or something. He just travels from one dimension to the other. You know what I'm saying? But he has to have a line of sight. He has to see it. So he can only jump but so far. Yeah. He can only jump but so far, but he has to have a line of sight. So he can't jump across the ocean. You know what I'm saying? He'll jump into the ocean and maybe jump from one place to another, but Kurt can't jump across the ocean. However, if one of the acolytes got to him, one of them were able to boost his ability. And there is a character actually called Boost, who that's what he does. He jumps inside of you and he boosts your ability. One of the acolytes actually has the ability to enhance your genetic ability. So if you have super speed and one of the acolytes got inside of you, well, they don't get inside of you. They just hit you with this whatever, and this mutant, and then your mutant genes will make you even faster. So one of them got to Hank, and they were like, "You're the beast, right?" And he was like, "Yeah, he's already blue and everything." Hank can run really, really, really fast. Well, what they wanted to do was, Hank is really, really smart. Plus, he's super fast, and he's really, really strong. He's a great fighter. Hank is so strong. The beast is so strong. If he hits the ground will crack. He can send a shockwave at you by hitting the ground. Okay, they don't show this in the movies. If he wants to, he can cause a crack in the ground that will open up and come towards you. That's how strong Hank is. But if one of the acolytes got to him and they wanted to super enhance his ability, so what they did was, instead of having Hank attack him, he just hit him with his beam, and he turned into the beast he actually really is mutated into. And he turns into this 8-foot creature, but the thing about it is, it took away his intellect. He turned into an animal, and he just went and ran out in the woods, and nobody, he didn't know where he was, he didn't know who he was. He was just feral creature just out in the woods running around until somebody got to him, and it reversed the whole thing. So there are a bunch of other, but the acolytes ran around with Joanna Cargill, who you won't hear about probably ever. But nonetheless, she's not a superhero, she's a super villain. They're on Magneto's side. When Magneto was like, "Come with me, and we'll be separate from them." You probably won't see Joanna Cargill and a bunch of other ones. But Joanna Cargill is a black woman with dreads, and she has super strength. But the thing about Joanna Cargill is she'll kill you. She has no problem with killing you right now. She will stomp you to death. That's it. Like she went around killing other people, you know. But her super strength is probably measured by pretty much what she can lift. So I would say if Joanna wanted to, she could probably pick a bus up. She probably wouldn't have a problem picking up a bus, or like a school bus, or at least turning it over. I would say that, because Peter Parker can pick up the back of a bus, but when he's in his Venom outfit, he can pick up the whole bus. So Joanna Cargill and Peter Parker are kind of, you know, almost on the same level of strength. Black woman. Just strong as that. That's her mutant ability. But she doesn't take no nonsense. Like in one of the trade paperbacks, she kills this girl because they kidnapped this girl and her boyfriend, but the girl was a mutant. And this is when the mutants took over New York City. They were killing all the people that were in it. So what Joanna Cargill did was the girl was trying to get her. The girl's ability was to make people fall asleep. So she realized that this girl was doing this to her, and she said, "You better cut that out." And the girl didn't do it. So she took her and just punched a hole in her chest. She just beat her to death. Also, running around with the acolytes is another super villain named Voight. And Amelia Voight. Amelia Voight's ability is she, for one, she can fly. And two, she can relocate herself. She's kind of like Kurt. She can relocate herself from one area to another with you. So she's just like Kurt. Only thing about it is her line of sight is different. You know, she wants to be somewhere. She's there. I don't think she can travel across the world, though. But she also had no problem killing humans. You got to understand, all of Magneto's people, they have no problem with getting rid of humans because they sent the machines after them and took them to camps, and they were killing off all the people. You know what I'm saying? They were killing off all the metahumans is what they were doing. So in return, the metahumans took over New York and was killing off all the people in New York. Everyone. Just killing them off. One by one. And the X-Men were sent in to try to stop it. And the Juggernaut ended up getting into a fight with the Blob, which is, you don't see that too much. But they only got into a fight because the Juggernaut's like, for one, I'm not a mutant. I don't have nothing to do with your fight. But nonetheless, the Juggernaut likes money. You know what I'm saying? So he was there for some kind of mission. And the Blob was in his way. And he pretty much, you know, told him, listen, get out my way. And the Blob was just like, try and move me. You know, the Blob's ability, his mutant ability, the Blob looks fat, but he's not. That's not fat that you're looking at. It's just like one of Peter Parker's nemesis is the Kingpin. Kingpin, which is, if you look at the Defenders and that's on Netflix now, you'll see the Kingpin. The Kingpin actually fought up against Peter Parker, but he actually is a drug lord in Hell's Kitchen, so he fights up against Daredevil. Nonetheless, the Kingpin is 400 pounds. That's 2%. He's a 400-pound man. That's 2% body fat. And he's a Greco-Roman wrestler. He'll break your back. He's that strong. So that's who the Kingpin is. Like, he's benching 500 pounds like it's nothing. If you look at the Defenders, you'll see him. But there's been two different versions of the Kingpin. When the first Daredevil movie came out, the Kingpin was a black guy the actor is now dead. The Kingpin now is a white guy. Unless he's a white guy in the comic books. Anyway, so the Blob and this is in a trade paperback. But I'm just trying to show you that there's so many more characters out there that they don't really talk about. The Klingenstock brothers. Okay, I'll talk about them in a minute. But they're part of Magneto's, they're twins. They're part of Magneto's crew. Anyway, so the Blob and the Juggernaut go at it, but it's a fight that causes a stalemate because once the Blob gets moving, once the Juggernaut gets moving, his magical abilities are actually what makes the Juggernaut. I'll put it to you like this. If the Jewel of Sidorak sits in the Juggernaut's chest, if you remove the Jewel of Sidorak, the Juggernaut is just a man. He doesn't have super strength or nothing. However, if you remove the Jewel of Sidorak, the Juggernaut dies. Point blank. He is 100% magical. He was a regular dude, and then he found the Jewel of Sidorak, and once it infused inside of him, it gave him the power of the Juggernaut. The Juggernaut is a mystical character. Anyone can be the Juggernaut if you can find the Jewel of Sidorak once it's removed from somebody else's body. This is why the Juggernaut can survive a nuclear blast. The Juggernaut can walk underwater. It's nothing to him. He can, I mean, when the Juggernaut's underwater, he doesn't breathe. He doesn't have to. He's a mystical, magical character. So he doesn't have to breathe. He can walk on the floor of the ocean, just like it's walking outside a regular day. So can Peter. Peter can do the same thing. Not Peter Parker. Rasputin. Peter Rasputin can do the same thing. And you don't know who that is, look at the last Deadpool movie. He's the big silver guy. Colossus is his code name. Once he's in his Colossus form, he doesn't breathe at all. He's not breathing. He can stay in that form as long as he wants to. So if you threw him in the ocean, he'll sink to the bottom of it, but he can walk along the ocean. So he'll just stay in that form until he finds his way back up. That's just it, because he's not going to swim like that. The one thing that can hurt him, a magical spell, there was actually these, well, I don't want to get too far into that, but nonetheless, he got his leg broken with a magical spell. Anyways, it was a stalemate. The Juggernaut and the Blob, they ran up and boom, and you just felt the shockwave that went all through New York. And the Blob took a slight step back, which means, his mutant ability says he can't be moved, but he was actually moved by the Juggernaut, because the Juggernaut, once he starts moving, can't be stopped, but the Blob was able to stop it. Talk about some more characters. The Klingenstock brothers, I forgot what their ability is. They shoot these kind of power. Like, they're lethal though. They're generals to Magneto. But they all died. If you ever seen the X-Men when they went into the future, all of them are dead. They couldn't handle the sentient robots coming after them and wiping them out one by one. So they all pretty much leave off the planet. In the Age of Ultron, too, in the future, they all die, too, because the Hulk is the only one that lives. And then you have the young Avengers that come up and, pretty much stop Ultron. The Hulk actually does it. And the Hulk and Lady Thor. That's another person you don't see. You don't usually see Beta Ray Bill. Beta Ray Bill is a Thor. He has the Thor's ability. And except he's a lot more vicious than Thor. Thor actually has a very human, messing around. His girlfriend's human. Beta Ray Bill is not human. He actually has no problem beating the hell out of you. And he does it with a hammer, too. Beta Ray Bill. He's an alien. He has no problem just dusting you off. You didn't know what part about Beta Ray Bill? Yeah. Yeah. He's a Thor. And you just you just if you look him up, Beta Ray Bill, he is a Thor. He wears his helmet with wings on the side. He has a power of flight. He can travel through dimensions. He takes that hammer and He does the same thing Thor does. Yep. He is a Thor. Thor has a daughter who can do what he does too, but she grows up on Earth. You know. Yeah. And as a matter of fact, all of the Avengers have children. You know, they grow up with their powers, and trying to think of there's so many more characters, but this comes from years and years of reading and years of watching. You know, there's the New Mutants. There's just so many of them. There's ones that I don't even know about anymore. But there's so many of them. The mutants. Then of course you got all of the mutants that were created by Sublime, and Sublime is pretty much a mad doctor who was looking for who helped create the Weapon X project. The Weapon X project isn't Wolverine. Weapon X is a number. X meaning 10. Wolverine was the 10th person of the Weapon X project. So, once again, if you've watched the Wolverine movies, you'll see some of the other Weapon X's in there, like Agent Zero, who was the Asian guy in there. Agent Zero, his ability, for one, he can disperse a charge out of his hand. They don't show that in the movie because they're not really concentrating on him. Also, if you look at one of the Wolverine movies, the chick that Wolverine is with, when Wolverine's about to, he gets out the car, he's about to get into a fight with a dude, a little road rage about to happen, and this woman gets out the car and she touches both of their hands. She says, "Calm down. Won't you guys calm down?" And Wolverine goes, when they get back in the corner, Wolverine looks at his woman. He goes, "How did you do that?" She's actually part of the Weapon X program. He didn't know it. She actually works for the guys who operated on Wolverine and Wolverine escaped from. But he didn't know at the time. And when he touched her, he should have realized that she had the power of manipulation through pheromones. Her name is Silver Fox. But he didn't realize that. And basically it's his so-called girlfriend, but he doesn't know that she's pretty much playing games with him. She's keeping him in a certain area and keeping watch on him. This is why you saw him like in the mountains and cutting logs and stuff like that, just living a simple life. She's his wife during that, but she's playing the role. She's not really his wife. She's just playing that role. And eventually, it gets found out. But she ends up dying. She gets killed by, I think, Sabretooth, who's also one of the weapons. But Sabretooth is an actual mutant, too. So you got Phantom X, who's also a mutant. Zero, Silver Fox, Sabretooth. They all fought on the same team at one time, but Wolverine left. He didn't want to be a part of the program because that wasn't any good. They sent Silver Fox to go and pretty much manipulate him through her pheromones. So every time he made love to her, he's feeling something that just wasn't real. But he couldn't tell, which is interesting because it's Wolverine. He would be able to tell. He couldn't tell. And he really believed that he lived in the woods, in the mountains, and he was married to this gorgeous woman. He never was. It was all a lie. Once he died, he found out that it was all a lie. He kind of went crazy. But there's that. At one time, Wolverine and Storm actually was getting it on. They were some type of, item. Storm was living kind of, by her bootstrap. She wanted, some action. She wanted to live kind of on the edge. This is when she cut her hair and all this stuff. So she started running around with Wolverine. Wolverine and Gambit would go on missions. So they would go on secret missions that the other X-Men wasn't really allowed to go on. And the reason why is because it would usually get bloody. Okay, so Gambit is a mutant that comes from the Bayou, Louisiana. But the thing about Gambit is he's deeply immersed in magic. Gambit's ability, he can charge something and blow it up. I mean, if he charges something well enough, he'd blow up the damn planet, although he's not on that level. So he can touch something and blow it up, right? That's not his only ability. Gambit's other ability is he has super dexterity. When Gambit actually fights someone, if you're fighting him at close quarters, the closer the quarters, the worse it is for you. It's a bad deal if he has walls and stuff around him. He's kind of like a lower level Spider-Man when it comes to fighting. He can flip off of walls and stuff like that and charge items. So he'll flip off of something, boom, land, charge it, throw it at you, flip off of something, throw a card at you. That's how Gambit actually fights. You just don't see that too much. And you'll see it in the comic books. You'll see it in the video games. And the thing about Gambit is he's real stealthy because Gambit is actually, he's not a spy. He's a thief. He's a master thief. That's how he got involved with the X-Men. He came there to steal something from them, and he actually did, but he didn't really know who he was stealing it from. And next thing you know, you're getting in a fight with a man with adamantium claws who could smell you coming. This is the reason why they end up becoming friends too, because of both. They were enemies at first, but both of their powers kind of like, okay, I respect yours, you respect mine. Even though Wolverine would beat Gambit in a straight up fight once he just turned into what he really is, an animal. But nonetheless, Gambit, his origin, Gambit actually comes from what's called a guild of thieves. You guys still awake? I don't know if you guys are there or not. I'm just talking. I'm hungry. All right. About Gambit. Okay, we're here. Okay. Gambit comes from what's called a guild of thieves. And the guild of thieves would have bloody wars against the guild of assassins. And I mean bloody. They killed each other on a regular basis. So in this, and the thing about it is you're born in that family. It's not like you just go out and get inducted. No, you are born a thief or you're born an assassin. And they all lived in pretty much the same area. So it was like the Hatfields and McCoys going at it. It's pretty much what it is. So the thing about the Guild of Thieves and the Guild of Assassins is that's how they made their money. Okay? Now, they also had what's called a tribute that they did every year. And this is the only time that they wouldn't try to kill each other during the tribute. They would go to this open space, well, not necessarily open space, but they would go deep in the woods of the bayou, which is a dangerous place. No normal person would go there because of crocodiles and all that stuff. But these are assassins and thieves with superhuman abilities. So crocodiles don't really mess with them because they'll get lit up real fast. But a normal person wouldn't go that deep into the bayou because they'll get eaten. So they would go there and they would have their ceremony, and this god would show up. And it was a woman. And what she would do is she was like, I'm here for the tribute. Now, this god would kill you off in a heartbeat if the tribute isn't there. But she would give you enough time to get the tribute. So one time they didn't have the tribute. It's usually in a box. It's some kind of gift to the god. So, I'm not really sure exactly what it's for. But, the god came to show up to get it every time. So it kind of had a magical inference to it. But this god would show up, and one time the tribute wasn't there. And the thieves and the assassins blamed it on each other, and they were going to start killing each other right there, but that wasn't what happened. They were like, the thieves took it. They were like, no, the assassins took it. And the god was like, you guys better find out who took it. I'll be back at this time if I don't have it, then I'm going to start murdering people. So that's kind of the life that Gambit came from. Gambit isn't a mutant that just, he's a mutant and he just this sick fighter that just happens to be just this. No, he's grown up that way since inception. You know, he grew up fighting. That's why he's so dope and so stealthy at what he does. You know what I'm saying? That's why he's like a perfect agent too. Also, Wolverine, what a lot of people don't know is Wolverine didn't just up and join the X-Men. Wolverine was sent to the X-Men to kill Dr. Xavier. That's how he became an X-Men. He was sent on a mission to kill Dr. Xavier, but Dr. Xavier can read your mind. So he was like, you know, I know who you are and I know why you're here. And he convinced Wolverine not to kill him. Yeah. He was there, wasn't he? Thief, Gambit was there where? Give it the truth. Was he an X-Men when Wolverine came to kill Xavier? I don't understand your question. Gambit, yes, Gambit is a thief. He's a master thief. But he isn't a thief like, you know, it's just what he does. He's a thief because it's his life. That's how he lives. It's his code of honor. He was born a thief. Yeah. He was born a thief. So it just to show you some of the different elements. And this is why people, yeah, it's his family. Exactly. He was born into that family. The Thieves Guild and the Assassins Guild. It just gives you some, just give you guys some backgrounds on some of the characters that you've seen but don't really know that much about. You know, I've been reading about these guys for a long time, but the Assassins Guild, it is their way of life. Now, some of the characters they've shown you in some of the movies that are very interesting, like the one chick who's a fly. Her abilities is she has wings, so they show you that in one of the X-Men movies where she can actually spit on something. She's a black girl. She plays a stripper. And she has wings painted on her back. Those are really wings. I remember that through the animation cartoon. Yeah, through the animation cartoon. The animation cartoons give you a lot of history on the Thieves Guild and the Assassins Guild, or Gambit, but they don't give you a, what up, Gibson? Tony, sorry to cut out, even though I would try and compete with you on an incline press power, you still got me. Motivate to start. Well, good. Go and do it, Gibson. That's what it's all about. Yeah, so Rogue didn't grow up with the power to fly. No problem, man. Rogue didn't grow up with the power to fly. She stole that from Captain Marvel. And she almost killed Captain Marvel by doing it. You know, because Rogue was bad. She was brainwashed by Mystique. And Mystique knew that if she got a hold of Captain Marvel, that she would have these powers. But Mystique didn't know. Yeah, but she didn't know if she kept a hold of her. See, Mystique didn't know if Rogue grabbed a hold of her that she and held on to her, that she would permanently absorb those powers. She's Mystique's she's Mystique's daughter, but that's because Mystique kind of kidnapped her. She kind of kidnapped her, and that's why she's her daughter. She raised her because she knew she had certain abilities. Mystique was plotting against her the whole time. Nightcrawler is Mystique's real child. Kurt Wenger. And I was saying earlier that Nightcrawler, his ability to go from one place to another, he actually travels through the dimension of hell when he does it. That's why he smells like brimstone. He's an actual demon that speaks German. Yeah. Another thing about Nightcrawler is he probably has the ability to live for a long time. He might even be immortal because Mystique has lived for a long time. Mystique is hundreds of years old. Well, Nightcrawler really wanted to get to know Mystique, but Mystique really didn't want to get to know Nightcrawler. Mystique has always been on the move. She's the only person she really got to know was Rogue. But that's because she was using her. That's because she was using Rogue. And once Rogue found out, you know, she's like, I hate you. You've been using me. She's like, no, I loved you. She says, no, you didn't. You used me for my power. And that's exactly what she did. She just used her for her power. I'm trying to think of some, I don't know, I've been at this for 2 hours. X-Men Extreme. X-Men Extreme. I got a bunch of other comic books in it. I'll tell you what, I'll just grab some comic books to show you guys. Give me a second here. Are we really free? But the words guys still there? All right. Man, the par back. I did some of this yesterday on the live. Because the church is the only place he found sanctuary. Remember when Nightcrawler grew up, they wanted to kill him because they thought he was a demon. He grew up in the days of when they saw something, they would burn it. Back when the, 1400s type of days. Old villages. People run around with pitchforks and stuff like that. All right, so just gonna, I don't know. Not really gonna go into these books too deep, but you guys are still here, so after 2 hours, I think that's pretty good. All right, so here's a character that they shown before. Love this dude. You're probably not gonna see him. You saw him once. They did have a movie with him in it, and he's also from the future. Yeah, this is them in the Savage Land. He's also from the future. I forgot his name, but what the way they have him in the comic books and the way they portrayed him in the movie was two different things. Although he did have locks in his hair, but he's a big, huge man. And he is a metahuman. His ability is Shoot. And I think him and Storm dated at one time. But his ability is, for one, he's from the future. So when he comes from the future, he tries to stop the apocalyptic events. Yeah, he absorbs energy and he throws it back at you. I forgot his name though. He tries to stop the apocalyptic events, and he also has an energy blasting gun. And when I say he's a big boy, he's a big boy. He would look like a big football player, like almost 7 feet, and just hurling energy bolts at you. But Bishop, that's his name. The thing about Bishop is, if you hit him with an energy bolt, it's a good chance you just hurt your own self. He's just going to send it back at you, but he can amplify it. You know what I'm saying? And he can take more than one at a time. So if you hit him with a few different type of energy bolts, he just absorbs it and just sends it back at you. He's kind of different from Sebastian Shaw. He's kind of different, but he's kind of the same. Sebastian Shaw, if you hit him with an energy bolt, he'll take the energy, but he doesn't send the energy back at you. What he does is he gets super strong. So, you know, if in Sebastian Shaw, when you send kinetic energy at him in any form, he takes that. Next thing you know, he can lift up a, Oh, so he was 6'8", 260? Okay, yeah. Told you he was around 7 feet. He's a big, big man. But in the movies, they don't have him that big. He's a smaller guy. And I'm like, well, I guess it's hard to get a big 6'8", dude to play, what you want. But nonetheless, he's a big, big, big man. And yeah. Also, Sunspot. They had Sunspot in the same movie. And Sunspot is my dude. When he gets upset, he starts speaking in his normal language, which is he's Hispanic. His Sunspot's Hispanic. I think he's Hispanic. But anyways, so just showing you some different characters. Here's Wolverine, Rogue, Magneto, a vision of Magneto, and Rasputin right there, Peter, who's Colossus, and just some different. And I think this is, I don't know who this is right here. Mind you guys, these books are from 2001. Oh, okay, well, it is who it looks like. It's Sabretooth. You can tell by the claws. Claws there. So these are old comic books. But that's them in the Savage Land. And this is it's an X-Men Extreme, issue number 4. Here is a new X-Men here. And if you can't tell by the red hair who that is, I'll just give you one guess. Especially when she's stopping stuff from harming her and touching the side of her head. You can pretty much know who that is. Just a different drawing of her. Yeah, she's stopping knives. It's Jean Grey. Yeah, all right. But the art, you got different artists that do different things. Here's when they first start showing Thor's with the things on his chest. This is when they changed Thor's outfit. I guess they thought it was being more modern, but instead of having him with the big old helmet on and the classical look. Here's a character that you hardly ever see too much of. That character right there holding on to Jean Grey. That's Jubilee, actually. And these right here, these girls right here. They're all students of the White Queen. All those girls with blonde hair. And together, they're able to, you know, do all kind of stuff, give you visions, and, you know, but they work as a collective, and they got all their ability from the White. Well, you see this whole thing? This is all comic books. And I stopped collecting 10 years or so ago. There's more. Either goes up on the comic. Now because of these movies. Yeah. I used to have let me put these down. It's kind of heavy. It's a lot of them. I used to have the Infiniti Wars. I read the Infiniti Wars when they first came out. I read the whole trilogy. Well, yeah, you can. There's a website that you can go to. There's also a book that you can go to and start, you can make just as much money by, putting them on YouTube. There's guys who put these on YouTube and just pretty much tell the story. One of the guys is named Film Comics Explains. He does, a lot of storytelling. So I'm going to start doing this pretty soon. I'll start doing some storytelling. So I'm not going to get rid of them just yet because I might have me a regular gold mine right here. I have another channel called Tone StarCraft. And I might start getting in and start doing it on that channel. Is Captain Marvel going to make a big change in the Avengers movie? Okay, so Captain Marvel, what she did was she introduced not the Shi'ar Empire. She introduced the Kree. I think it's the Kree or the Krill. I think it's the Kree Empire. Captain Marvel, her name actually derives from the person who gave her strength, whose name was Marvel. That's how it's actually said. It's a guy who was a spy, and he was spying on our planet for his warlike planet that conquers, universes. And what they do is they look at a planet and they say, yeah, I want to come there and conquer that planet and take it over. It's a lot like Hawkman. Hawkman wasn't a spy, but Hawkgirl was a spy. And once they found that out, the Hawk people showed up in force and they were going to take over the whole planet Earth. So that same storyline goes true with Captain Marvel himself, but he ended up being a good dude. He was like, I don't think that I want this to happen, because they actually destroy the planet when they do. I think they destroy the planet, but nonetheless, they destroy the planet if you try to deny them. They'll destroy the planet. So basically what he was doing was, a Captain Marvel, the female, was a scientist. She's actually an astronomer, I think. And he was trying to save her from some type of blast, and holding on to her when the blast happened. It just, his abilities went into her and made her what she is. The same person that made Rogue what she is. Rogue was also a mutant. But Rogue didn't have the powers that she had to its fullest extent until her and Mystique, got into a fight with Captain Marvel. Hey, what's going on? Just talking about some, cartoons and stuff like that. So there's some storyline for you on who's who and what's what. And basically, once Mystique got a hold of her, she crippled Captain Marvel. And because I think her real name is Carol Danvers. Captain Marvel's real name is Carol Danvers or something like that. So she basically took, I would like to see Marvel versus DC. Yeah, it's Carol Danvers, ain't it? You're right about Cavs and 7. Yep, try to tell you. And I was almost right about the difference. I said it was going to be like 5 points. Told you it was going to be close. It had to be close. Yeah, that's her name. Carol Danvers is her name. She was a scientist. And now she's just, fast forward, after all of her fighting and all the good she's done, she's a defender. But now she's laid up in the hospital because she's a quadriplegic or something like that. She can't move. However, she can talk. And, she hates Rogue's guts, because she's siphoned all of her power, and more. Yeah. Are we talking about the movies or sports in this lab? We're talking about the movies. That's why it's titled that way. The strongest superhero? The strongest superhero or the strongest metahuman? Because when you're talking superhero, that is only a subsection. Yeah, we're talking about the Avengers. Yeah, I watched it. I'm going to see again. So if you're talking about the strongest superhero, the good guy, the heroes, the strongest one, probably, well, are we talking about DC and Marvel, or we're just talking about Marvel? I'm trying to narrow it down here. Well, if you're just talking about Marvel, Hulk is not the strongest superhero. Okay, let me narrow it down again. Are we talking about on Earth or that there is in the MCU? Because you're talking about the MCU, the Hulk is not the strongest person in the MCU. Even Worldbreaker Hulk is not the strongest person in the MCU. You would be very close to being correct. But Thanos is not a superhero. He's a supervillain. MCU, Marvel Comic Universe. Okay, so you're talking about Marvel Comic Universe. And if you say on Earth, then you would be looking at the Phoenix, which is Jean Grey. If you're talking, and then you're talking about what period you're talking about. Yeah, you would be talking about Jean Grey. She's probably this, but with the Phoenix Force. Without the Phoenix Force, she's still lethal as hell. She'll beat the Hulk hands down. If she really went at it with the Hulk. I mean, really went at it. I tell you who else is stronger than the Hulk is freaking the Scarlet Witch. The Scarlet Witch would just disrupt his whole reality. The Scarlet Witch got upset one time and created her own world. She created her own reality and lived in it. And other people lived in it. That's how dope the Scarlet Witch is. She lived in it, and everyone around it lived in her own reality. The Hulk can't match that on any level. He can tear that place up. But like I said, when they showed her manipulating the Hulk at first, she can really do that on a sub level that'll mess the Hulk up. But when it comes to raw strength, you would be looking at on Earth, because there's people who can beat the Hulk that doesn't live on Earth. But on Earth, you would be saying the Hulk as far as strength is concerned. Strongest superhero is the... No. We're talking strength. If we're just talking strength, we're not talking about... If we're talking just strength, that's why I was trying to be specific. If you're talking strength, it would be the Hulk. That I know of. Yeah. Well, I don't know. Black Bolt might give him. Black Bolt can destroy the world, so there's that. But the Hulk could survive that. So yeah, you would be looking at the Hulk, Black Bolt, Jean Grey. Doctor Strange would just send the Hulk to another dimension, and the Hulk would have to stay there. So there's that. Yeah, the Scarlet Witch. Yeah, there's certain people that can face the Hulk and just the Hulk wouldn't be able to do anything. And I mean nothing. All the raw and smash would do you no good. And I mean, if you got into the comic book and really looked at the MCU, there's a couple other major players out there that are on the planet that you don't even know about. Silver Surfer's not on the planet, plus he's not from the Earth. That's why I was being specific. It's a whisper. Another person is pretty powerful. Legion. Yeah, I was going to say, that's what I was going for. Legion will probably, I mean, he can turn the Hulk into something else. His ability is yeah, I've seen Doctor Strange. I've been following Doctor Strange since I was a child. Dr. Stephen Strange. I've seen the movie and the animated movie. Talking about Earth characters, then, you know, you wouldn't involve Silver Surfer. He's a, you know, plus, okay, the Silver Surfer's origin, he was just a regular human being from another planet. He became a servant of Galactus in order to spare his planet, which ended up getting destroyed anyway, I think. It's just me, or did the first time the Hulk regretted transforming in Infinity War? You look just like Lou Ferrigno. Never thought about that. Good old Lou. Lou is still big. I saw him at a Comic-Con here. Yeah, if you're talking about raw strength, the Hulk would be the strongest raw strength person other than Supreme or one of those guys. You know, Supreme is ridiculously strong. Voice text, my bad. Oh, yeah. He's the strongest because he'll pull everyone in at one time. Luke just, yeah. Well, he's not the strongest. We're talking about like pick something up, raw strength with your body. Not to mention, Doctor Strange uses magic. Yeah. What about Sentry? Sentry too. He's another one. He's from Earth. To you through the comics, that's the fourth dimension. Sentry knows he's in the fourth dimension. He knows he's a comic book character. Before they fought before. Why didn't who do what to? Oh, momentum. I don't understand that. Yeah, the Hulk and the Juggernaut have fought before. But okay, for one, when we're talking about the Hulk, you got to understand there's different versions of the Hulk. And I'm not talking about old man Hulk. I'm not talking about Hulk from, 20, 35 Hulk. I'm talking about the Hulk himself. There's different versions of the Hulk. Hulk actually turns colors the madder he gets. The strongest Hulk that there is when he turns gray. He also grows. The Hulk is 8 feet when he first transforms. At his maddest, the Hulk is in between 11 to 15 feet. The Thing is no match for the Hulk. The Red Hulk is, you don't see him in the MCU or like in the movies, but yes, the Red Hulk. Yeah, he goes Super Saiyan when he gets really, really, really upset, which is going to happen in the Infinity Wars because they get a mountain thrown on top of them by some magical guy. And this is where Doctor Strange comes in. I think the magical guy that throws the mountain on top of a bunch of superheroes is Morgan Maffei. It's either Morgan or Morgan's a kid though, so it's not Morgan. It's even though Morgan can do it. I forgot the other dude's name. Worldbreaker Hulk was the strongest. Well, like I said, there's different versions of the Hulk. Yeah, Worldbreaker Hulk is I'm trying to think of who would be physically stronger than him, but yeah, he would be physically the strongest. But in an all-out fight with all superheroes, the Hulk wouldn't stand if he would regenerate. Transforms her reality. So, World Buster, it's World Breaker. It's World Breaker Hulk. Hulk is pretty much tearing up everything in New York and all over the planet, everywhere he goes. He doesn't turn back into Bruce Banner. He's actually a very smart Hulk. But nonetheless, he's tearing stuff up. So what Tony Stark does is they can't have him on the Avengers anymore because he's everywhere he goes, the collateral damage is great. Not to mention he has a habit of turning on people when he gets so mad. He doesn't know who his friends and who his foes are. This happened when he was fighting against, one of the alien invasions. And he was like, "This is my fight." And he was like, "Get away." And he hits, I think he either hits Tony Stark or he hits Captain America. And he just slaps him like halfway across the city. And he just goes crazy. And after these aliens are dead, he's still fighting. They're just like, calm down. And so next thing you know, they're fighting against the Hulk and they're hitting him with these darts to try to make him calm down. And he just doesn't. He's just beat people half to death. Captain America ends up taking him down, but he doesn't stay down long. So basically, they get him and they put him on a ship. They put him on this super strong ship and they send him to another dimension, pretty much. Except, they don't send him to another dimension. They sent him to another galaxy. And when they did that, he lands on, this planet that he wasn't supposed. They were sending him to a planet that only has a small strip of land and nothing but water. But his trajectory got sent off because he busted out of it and hit the controls of the ship, went into crew. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, he takes those guys and a bunch of others and he shows back on Earth. He comes back to Earth. When he comes back to Earth, he kills everyone. Everyone. All the superheroes, he kills almost all of them. Until they get invaded. When they got invaded, the Hulk is like, "Okay, you guys, I'm going to fight on your side because I don't want these guys to invade us." You know who they get invaded by? The Skrull. I think that's who they are. But they were already invaded by him and didn't even know because they're shapeshifters. And some of them were out. Yeah, the Skrulls. Yeah. And one of them was Spider-Woman or something like that. Or one of them was the Queen. The female queen. Yeah. The female queen was she was among them and they didn't even know. And what she did was she detonated the stretchy dude from the Fantastic Four, because he was always in their little hideout, because they pretty much, were had to hide from the Crawl when he invaded them. And that was the last of them. And the reason why they were weakened is because a Worldbreaker Hulk came and killed a bunch of them. So the Skrulls saw this from space, and they were like, now is a good time to go ahead and invade them. But they were already on the Earth. They were just waiting. So, Spider-Woman is the one who usually fights against them. And basically, once their position was weakened, she detonated a bomb that was inside of Mr. Plastic, Plastic Man or whatever he is, because he was in their hideout, and it killed every single one of them. Everybody died except the Hulk. And so, the Hulk was like, it's just me here. When I say everyone was dead, everyone was dead. That would be interesting. But you know what? I noticed that even though it's PG-13, they're not opposed to getting rid of people. She was gone too. Everybody was dead. Everyone. The Hulk was the only living person on the planet. And I think there's actually a story where the Hulk was the only living person on the planet, and it got taken over by roaches. And what happened is, Mister, and what happened is the roaches, of course, were eating anything they could. Well, you're the only person on the planet. All the food is gone. So guess who they were eating? They were eating the Hulk. They would just run up on his ass and eat him all at once. And then there would be like a little strain of them left. And that little strain would reproduce the Hulk again. And every now and then they just come along and eat him again. Spider-Man actually punched the Hulk into space before. Okay, so Spider-Man is not nearly as strong as a Hulk. But Spider-Man is evolving. He never stopped evolving. I went through this an hour ago or so. Spider-Man is not, he hasn't stopped evolving. You got to understand, Spider-Man hasn't even, reached his fullest potential as a human. So the more he evolves, the more compound his strength gets. And the Hulk got to it. And Spider-Man all day. Spider-Man will beat the hell out of Luke Cage. Spider-Man will just tie Luke Cage up and that would be it. Hulk versus Hulk. Luke Cage can't handle any of those guys. Yeah, Spider-Man is still young. This is why he acts like that, and why Tony Stark treats him like that. But Spider-Man is really, really smart. And sometimes if he's punching above his weight, what he'll do is he'll have his webbing. He'll have his webbing compound like a fist around, and he'll punch you with it. He'll just. You understand, Spider-Man can run at 70 miles an hour with ease. So he has no problem getting next to you and just knocking you straight up out of here. And he did that to the Hulk before. He just came at him real fast. Yak! But most of the time, you see Spider-Man fighting. Most of the time, he just outsmarts his opponent. And this is why he's always talking to him. Hey, blah, blah, blah. And he's always got these quick quips and stuff like that because it's easy to him. Because he's so fast, a lot of times when he's fighting them, it's like time is slowing down. Like when he first noticed he had that ability and a guy threw a punch and it was like, that's what it's really like when he fights people because he's so fast. And every now and then, somebody can match his speed. Spider-Man actually has a villain that he fights against called Speed Demon. Well, the Hulk almost killed the Thor. Oh, you mean Infinity War Thor? The Hulk. Although it would be a lot harder than when he fought against him when he came to Asgard. When the Hulk came to Asgard, you gotta understand, mind, he was fueled with rage that Loki had put in his mind. So he was the Hulk at 15 feet fighting the Thor, and the Thor didn't even realize that it wasn't even him until the fight was pretty much all over. And then he called on the power of the Thor and lightning, and when they hit the Hulk just got madder. It's like that's all I had. I will have this hammer. Nay, you will have its fury. It was all bad from there. Next time he raised his hammer, he broke his arm and beat him into the side of a mountain. So I'm going to go with the Hulk on that one. Venom versus Carnage. I don't really know. I'll take Venom. We are Venom. Yep. The Hulk versus One Punch Man. I don't know a lot about One Punch Man. I've seen a couple things on him. Yeah. Hulk versus Wayne Dingo. What y'all know about the Wayne Dingo? Wayne Dingo. You ever heard of him? You know who the Wayne Dingo is? I know you do. Give me the truth. Who's the Wayne Dingo? Come on, bro. Educate everybody on who Wayne Dingo is. Just say you don't know if you don't know. If you don't know, I'll put you on. X-Men Extreme. Yeah. You don't know who the Wayne. Okay, the Wayne Dingo is not a superhero. The Wayne Dingo is a mythical character that comes from humans eating other humans' flesh. They turn into the Wayne Dingo. He's not a superhero, but yeah, and he usually. I'm pretty much in it. I'm not so much the comic books anymore, but just the storyline. You guys know I wrote a book called The Sorrow King. Nobody has ever read it because the writing is the spelling sucks. But I'm gonna make it an audiobook when I get a chance. But you guys can look at the cover. You can look it up yourself, but I'll give you the link. It's on Amazon and it's also on Lulu.com. It's not an audio book yet, but I don't collect comic books anymore, you guys. I haven't collected in a long time. Hulk versus She-Hulk, the Hulk. What? You need to sign in the chat. Oh, do you have anything? I can't. You need to sign in the chat. I can't put my own stuff in. You can't put stuff in my chat. That's crazy. What? Oh my God. No, I mean, that is the last Hulk. That's the last Hulk. Who's stronger? Or the last Hulk, period. The She-Hulk is not the last person infected like the Hulk. The last person infected like the Hulk is Dr. Yeah, I can talk about the movie again because I did for about an hour and a half already, but I can talk about it some more. Doctor, I forgot his name, but it's a doctor dude who was affected with the with gamma rays and all that other stuff. So he's super strong too. But yeah, I'll talk about it for like a half an hour or so because my back is killing me. I need to go lay down. But what do you want to know about it? Like, you have any particulars? Because there's so much to it. Yeah, Dr. Sampson. Thank you. You're the one who's, give me the truth. You all over it. Dr. Sampson, that's right. He was the last person that I know of. Him and the dude with the mind, the big mind. I'm sorry, I'm tired. That's why I can't think straight. But what about the movie? Anything you particularly want to know about the movie? Who's in it? Like the leader? Oh yeah, the leader. Man, you got my back. Like, why did Dr. Strange give the stone? You know what? That's the loaded question because Tony Stark. All right, so during that scene, if you really look at it, you're like, Dr. Strange knows, he said, I know one possible way to defeat him, but he doesn't reveal it. And everybody's like, what is it? And he's like, I'm not gonna say. And he also said, we're in the end game now. We're in the end game. So when he said we're in the end game, it made me think, for one, you're talking to Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange knows people that Tony Stark just doesn't know. Doctor Strange is in a whole nother league than Tony Stark. You haven't been there yet, Tony, and you have no idea what you're up against until you start running around with Doctor Strange. Now, Doctor Strange knows about he knows about Dormammu. If you know about Dormammu, then you got to know about the freaking Watchers. You know what I'm saying? Even though they don't get involved usually. But the Watchers did get involved with a Thor story. Okay? So they do get involved sometimes. Now, I'm thinking that Doctor Strange knows about for one, there's a whole list of gods that rule universes. Okay? Then there's time itself is an actual entity. There's a whole group of entities that Thanos is going to have to face. Now, he can face them with the gauntlet, and he beats a lot of them. But some of them he can't beat. Now, if you're looking at the end game, all the way to the end game, the one person Thanos won't want to beat is who? There's only one person he will not go up against MB. And I don't even think Give Me the Truth knows who it is. But you might know who it is, Give Me the Truth. There's one, if you're talking about the end game, there's one person Thanos he'll lay it all down for. You are exactly right. The fourth Avengers movie, guess what the name, what is it? Yeah, it's Lady Death, Give Me the Truth. And I think that Doctor Strange knows that in some kind of way, Lady Death is going to convince him that what he did was wrong. Because you got to understand, Lady Death is not in love with Thanos. Yeah, okay. Lady Death is not in love with Thanos. She's not. She's never confessed her love for Thanos. Not whatsoever. Not one bit. So he's doing all this to be in. Yeah, he's upset. He's the Mad Titan. She has no love for him, but she knows him. See, the thing about death is, of course, death needs people to die. But death doesn't need people to die at such an alarming rate that it's just like, okay, now everybody's dead. Now what? You know what I'm saying? Even though you're killing off half the universe, what I think happens is death actually is disgusted with Thanos. And I think that's exactly what Doctor Strange was talking about. Even death is like, what you're doing is out of the, okay, so let's draw back. She rejects him, but the reason why she rejects him is because he's killing too much and he is out of order. See, Thanos in order creates out of order. If I can say that. What he does is out of order of the cosmos because he actually defeats the cosmos. But when he does all of this, everything is knocked off balance, and Lady Death is pissed at him about it. And that's yeah. I believe the Infinity Wars, because at the end of the Infinity Wars, he's standing beside her. He's standing beside her, and she's sitting on a bunch of skulls, and she's sitting on this like the chair that you saw him sitting on in Yeah. So what she does is she gets upset with him, but when you first see her, Lady Death looks like a skull with the, she's in a dress, but you don't see her face. You just see her skull, and you see it. She looks like a wraith or something like that, and she's just, she's just sitting there, and he comes up to her and he starts talking to her, and he's like, "I did this all for you," and then her face changes to a woman's face, and she's just like I didn't tell you. And once he finds out that she's disgusted, I think he then goes, it's like, this was all for nothing. And then it all gets changed back. Like he goes up against the cosmos. He goes up against time himself. Like there's a whole group of gods that are out there. They're not even the Watchers. They're like above the Watchers. There's a whole group of them out there that he's going to face because they're all going to be like, you're disrupting the way things are. Death comes to all, but you can't just disrupt. And this is what he doesn't understand because Thanos is a mutant. Thanos is not a god. But the closest human to a god that has battled a god is going to be Thor, and it's going to be Doctor Strange. Those are the closest two who've dealt with a god and actually fought against, probably won't die, or it would take a long time to die. Now, mind you, Thor is a god on Earth, but in Asgard, Thor is not a god. Even his father told him, he's like, we're not gods. They just live for a long time. The span of an Asgardian is around 5,000 years. But it's not the same for everyone. Like in Jotunheim, I don't know if the span of life is 5,000 years. In the land of the giants where Loki's from. He's like, I'm not an Asgardian. I'm from Jotunheim, pretty much. And he's like, I'm their king, which he is. He's king of the ice giants. And the thing about it is that there's a storyline with Loki and Thor. Loki's mother actually comes for him. And what she does, she travels from Jotunheim and travels to Asgard. And when she first starts walking, she looks like a regular woman. When she gets to Asgard, she's like, 40 feet high. And her voice sounds like this. When she first starts, she's like, Loki, Loki. When she goes into the realm of Asgard, she's like, Loki. Loki, and they're just like, who is it? And this is, at this time, Loki has taken over, Asgard, has Thor locked up, which is a big mistake. And her name is, Loki's mother's name is Laufey. It's your mother, Laufey. And she hasn't seen him since he was, a kid. Yeah, Lady Death is the one that stops Thanos. Star-Lord punched Thanos. That one scene was poorly written. It was poorly written. It was poorly written. Point blank, it was poorly written. It was the one part of the movie where I just was like, why? Why do they always show us so close to success that some asshole messes it up? Like, I can understand he killed your woman and you finally got to kiss her. And she finally admits that she loves you more than anything, which she wouldn't even do in the last movie. She wouldn't even say that it was a thing. She kept denying there was anything of a thing. And then she's about to die and she says, I love you more than anything. And now you got, a hard on for the chick that you've been staring at for I don't know how long. And yeah, I can understand you're a little sexually frustrated that the woman you love, you will never get to hit. Yeah, that's messed up. But come on, Star-Lord. No. Like Nebula had more hatred towards Thanos, and he would have kept. Yeah. Now give me the truth. Go see the movie. It's great. It is a great movie. It's probably one of the best I ever saw. So does Thanos cry when he kills? Yes. Yeah, he cries. Yeah. You gotta understand, Thanos could have killed her off with the rest of her family. But Thanos, the thing about Thanos is he was always trying to justify what he did to someone. Always. Through the whole movie, he's always trying to justify what he did. He's trying to justify what happened to him when he was younger. He tries to look at that and say, well, this is the way the universe is, which is not the way the universe is. He thinks on some world somewhere that half the people are starving because the other half are still alive. This is his train of thought. I don't want this to happen to you, what happened to me. Now, how many times have we heard that story? I grew up poor and, I decided to help, this person and give them, $500, dollars because, when I was poor, I didn't have that. So I don't want them to go hungry. That's what I did. We hear it all the time. It's that same concept. We grew up hungry and starving. And because of this, half the planet, was destroyed because the other half were alive. So I don't want this to happen to you. So I'm just going to go and kill off everyone instead of letting natural, things just happen. So he thinks that the whole planet would have starved. So he kills off half of Gamora's people. So he's like, this way, the other half can live in harmony. No, the other half is going to live in terror because some asshole just swooped down and just killed half of the planet. What makes you think they're going to kill the rest of us? Like, get out of here. Not to mention, they was our family. Let us handle our problems. You're not God. Thanos is not a god. No. Well, not yet. Not in the Infinity Wars. That would be asking, are they going to introduce Thor's daughter? Not in the Infinity Wars. At least I didn't see him. or the Hulk's son or Wolverine's son. Yeah. Oh, yeah. After this, they're going to keep it going. Marvel is making way too much money. There's so much material. I mean, there's just so much material that they can use. They can go to X-Men Extreme. They can go to the New Mutants. I mean, they're already doing that on Netflix. I mean, they are going at it hard because everybody's, and they did it in such a good way that the people who were not nerds before are all, let's go see the Thor movie. Everybody's rooting for these people that they have no idea what their true abilities are. Go Heimdall. Heimdall is my dude. Is like, do you know what Heimdall can really do? Like, see what I mean? You got the Exiles, the New Mutants. You got the people that, you look. The X-Men has been like when they broke up. You got Havoc. Havoc had his own crew that he ran around with, the Exiles. I'd love to see something with the Exiles. Well, you already seen part of them. You saw Blink. Blink is one of the Exiles. You don't really get to see her that much. Blink is an alien. She comes from another planet. She's actually a queen. Or she's a princess. Her and her sister. But her sister took over. And Blink can't go back to her own planet because if she does, she's exiled from the planet. So there's that. Yeah. Like there's a lot. There's a whole lot, man, going on. So they could go on with this forever. There's just so much new material. And there's a lot like in the X-Men movies that you guys have already seen. Yeah, Forge is my dude. But they in one of the X-Men, they showed Forge already. When they was talking about the one where they all got killed because of the Sentinels, which was dope. Those were some really dope Sentinels. I'll tell you what they haven't done yet. They haven't done Onslaught. They worked their way right around Onslaught, didn't they? If you look at the time zones of when Onslaught came out, which was 2001, 2002, somewhere around there. Is that who that was? That's who I thought it was. I thought that was Red Skull. I was like, that's either Red Skull or it's Dr. Doom. I was like, is that Skull or is that Doom? Because any one of those could have fit that role right there. You know what I'm saying? Any one of those could have fit that role. But I guess Doom is on Earth. It's Red Skull. He was like, I know because I've touched it before. And I just like, who is that? Is that the Red Skull? And I figured it was a Red Skull once they showed closer. I was like, when they first showed him, I was just like, that's Doom. I was like, okay. But then when they showed him closer, I was like, oh, that's the Red Skull. I was like, get busy. Let's go with the Red Skull. Yeah, give it the truth. Yeah, the Red Skull is in it. The Red Skull is all in there, and he has a whole section that the Red Skull is in. But you don't know it's the Red Skull. Captain America's first Avenger, my God. Yeah. You don't know that that's the Red Skull unless you had some knowledge. You know what I'm saying? But you're just like, I have no idea who that is. You would think it's just some wraith just hovering over because he doesn't even have a red skull, but he's Skull. You know what I'm saying? With the black hoodie on and a black hoodie. Yeah, because there's nothing left of him. He's just floating there. But travel to different worlds like that. He was always He's always in the dimension traveling. The last time we saw a Red Skull was in the Captain America movie. So how did Red Skull get there? Now that's a question I don't even know. No idea how the Red Skull got there. No idea how the Red Skull got there. And I was like, when did the Red Skull fight against Captain America? Then all of a sudden, he Van Moose planet and he's stranded there. Look. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Thanos came for the Soul Stone. He knew Thanos. It's just getting good now. This is getting good. He knew Thanos was there for the Soul Stone. You know what and what did he tell Thanos? He said, you have to give up a soul for a soul, didn't he? You had to give up a soul for a soul. He said, I know, I tried to get it. You have to give up a soul for. He knew he was coming. He knew it. I'm telling you, what he did was, and he knew that he was going to kill Gamora because she was like, oh, you're crying tears? And he was like, those tears are not for him. So bust it. I think that he got tricked. I think Thanos just got tricked into taking a Soul Stone because Red Skull said that it stranded him on Earth. He's going to show up on. He said it stranded him on that planet. He's going to show up on freaking Earth now. What Thanos did was he released him. He released him. He tricked him. Yeah, the cube. He tricked him. He's like a soul for a soul. As a matter of fact, I don't even believe that Gamora had to die. In a movie, he said there was a transported by a space gem. Yeah. He tricked Thanos. Because he said he was stranded there. I'm telling you right now, Red Skull is going to show back up on Earth. Who is? Yeah, he's good. I don't believe that. Plausible. Yeah. I don't believe that. He's free now. He's free. And I actually didn't think she's dead. Red Skull might have something to yeah. I'm trying to tell you that what he said about the Soul Stone is not correct. It is not correct. And I'm going to tell you why it's not correct. Because the Vision had the Soul Stone on its freaking head. Anything to get it. Why would the Vision? No, I'm telling you something's not right here. I'm just like, I didn't even think about it until now. I'm just like, wait, all the stuff he said made perfect sense. He trapped Thanos in some kind of way. And when he didn't trap him, he released himself. Because he said he couldn't leave. Oh my God. Oh, it just got good. It just got good. Yeah, let's go, Red Skull. Because Red Skull is a cunning something. He also has super strength. He has a super soldier serum in him. Red Skull actually turned good at one time. Yeah. Let's go, Red Skull. Hook up with Von Zemos. Baron Von Zemos. Yeah. Yeah, he is. He about to come back and set it off. You know, he going to land right in Germany, too. Like, what's cracking since I ain't been here? Yo, fire up the twin jets. Let's get it. We about to drop bombs on everyone. Let's go. Yeah. Hey. And the thing about it is Red Skull going fool around and awaken Doom. He gonna make Doom come from out of that country that he owns. Dr. Doom lives in his own country. He gonna fool around and make Dr. Doom come out. It's gonna be cracking. Cause you know a Dr. Doom in their time, oh, baby. Let's get it cracking. Let's get it cracking. Yeah, what's cracking? You gonna fool around and wake a sleeping giant. Red's calling, no joke. AIM is already out there. Just because the dude died from AIM don't mean they still ain't out there. AIM is still out there. Hell, Hydra's still out there. You know what I'm saying? They ain't going nowhere. You say what you want. Hydra's still out there. They're still out there. Hey, listen. Hawkeye, tell me, Hawkeye jumped right back in the mix. Right back in the so many things going on. Right. It's about to go down. Like, it's going to be so good for these next few years. Just looking at these movies, because you're just going to be so amped. And listen, a lot of that spawned from one scene. That one person coming back to Earth just... It's going to be on. Because, listen, if they start getting these guys together, because you know that these villains, these megalomaniacs, like to run in groups. Like, all the time these Avengers been fighting amongst each other, just like, you guys better take a break because you guys got a real fight on your hands. Because if Baron von Zemos pops up with the Red Skull and they get a hold of AIM and fool around and gets with... Yeah. Oh boy. You mean like the ones that Thor travels to? The tree? You mean the tree? Oh. Well, one of them is destroyed. Hey, give me the truth. Just imagine Thor going to Jotunheim. Going to Jotunheim, Niflheim. But just imagine him going to the land of the ice giants. I think I would scream. I would. Sit your old ass down. I'd be like, ah! No, you don't understand what I'm saying. Listen. I'm trying to compose myself from the potential excitement that could happen right now. Serta never died. Do you understand what I'm telling you? He was trapped there. No, you don't understand. He was trapped there and he convinced him to do it. Listen, Serta never died. Serta never freaking died. Just imagine if Serta can travel through the realms. Serta still is has the eternal flame on his head. He never died. They lit him up so he can come and beat Thor's sister. I'm talking about the giant flaming god demon dude. The demon Serta, who was once defeated by Thor's father. He never died. When Thor was all locked up and you know, he was like 8 feet. It's not when he was 80 feet. He was like 80 feet. This is before Ragnarok happened, and he was talking to him. You know, he was already hurt. Thor had hurt him. Thor and his father had hurt Surta, and he didn't have the sword that he wanted. He needed the eternal fire. The eternal fire was locked up because Odin had it locked up, so Surta couldn't get it anymore and prevented Ragnarok. They gave him the eternal fire. The sister didn't defeat Surta. He's still alive. Son, I'm telling you, if they start jumping through the 9 worlds, they're going to run into Surta at his full strength with his freaking sword. Yo, don't let the Red Skull convince Surta to do something. Dude. Surta never died. He never died. Not to mention, Thor's sister is supposed to be the queen of the... I don't think she's dead either. I think she just went to the freaking underworld. Yo, I'm telling you, it's about to get crazy. It's about to get crazy. Surta never died, yo. Let's go, Surta. Let's go, Surta. Let's go, Surta. Go for it. Let's go, Red Skull. Let's go. Let's go, Red Skull. Red Skull gonna be taking heads. Red Skull taking heads right now. Red Skull taking heads. Yep. Yeah. Let's go, Red Skull. Red Skull has always been interested in other dimensions. Red Skull is the enemy that you never want to see go away because he always brings interesting fights. Because he operates on a magical realm. He really does, because he's into so much evil stuff that he always stumbles upon something else that's just so far greater than what he knew. He's got to be a part of this too. Heck yeah. It's no longer about Captain America anymore. It's not even about world dominance for Red Skull. It's just about pure dominance for Red Skull. He's like, oh, I can dominate that place too? Let's go. Let's go. And X-Men. Scotty, my boy, was popping. The Avengers that died in this film, they're not dead. I don't think they're dead. That were part of the phase 2, like Wanda and Scarlet, was it done on purpose that the Avengers that survived were the Avengers in phase 1? What do you think about that? Okay, so phase 1, you had Tony Stark, Thor. Yeah, he does one. So Tony Stark, Thor, Hulk, the chick, Black Widow, Vision, Well, not Vision. We don't know if the Archer. We don't know if he's still inside the fight. Captain America. Yeah, so those are the original. The inductees are Spider-Man, the Falcon, oh, okay. Well, Falcon gone. Spider-Man gone. Yeah. So yeah. Yeah. They're gone. Universal Soldier, he's there. Manchurian Candidate, dude. He's there, but he's not an Avenger. I told you that what they did was they called on, they called on the Defender. So don't be surprised if Luke Cage is in the next movie. I'd love that. Matter of fact, I think he's going to be. Don't be surprised. Matter of fact, that's why they did all that. Him, Jessica, Drew, Daredevil, and Iron Fist. They're going to show up. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they call them defenders. The ground level guys handling because all of their, everybody's gone. They call them defenders. And that's dope. That's why they did all this stuff with the defenders. Weapon X program. Yeah. Shoot. Yeah, they call them the defenders, man. Yep. Yeah, that's going to be nice. Jessica with her sexy ass. She's sexy than a mug. That Wolverine, baby. Yeah. Frank Hardcastle. All day. But they're the defenders. They would have defended the best they could. They're no match for the regular, Avengers. They're not even close. But they're not trying to be. That's never their modus operandi. They're not trying to even come close to that. The Iron Fist has his own, defense that he's supposed to protect, and he does. Luke Cage is just kind of tossed in, wasn't born that way. Somebody made him that way. I don't know about exposed. Okay. I think Luke Cage would kick mad booty, truthfully. Mad booty. Deadpool. Young Justice. I think Luke Cage would get in there and stomp a mud hole into somebody. But he wouldn't do nothing against Thanos. X-Men Exposed, issue 1. Yeah. X-Men Extreme. issue 19. Yeah, she'll get slapped around real good. Weapon, I don't. He might be weapon 11. I don't know who that guy is. New X-Men 130. He has to. Silver Surfer has to make an appearance because they fight Thanos. And Thanos wipes him and Galactus out. New X-Men. This chick can manipulate sand. Yeah, Galactus doesn't even stand a chance. Deadpool 65. He saves this chick's life. Her boyfriend was beating her up, put her in the hospital. Deadpool just beats the hell out of him. So she starts working for him. Oh, dude, I'm just digging through, just getting different ones. I had a bunch of them right here. I'm just messing around. Ooh, ooh. And I'm there the whole time. Children of Hunted, X-Men. All these are in good condition. Trying to see how old this one is. $1997. Wild Child. Uncanny 411. X-Men Extreme. Issue 11. Catwoman, DC. Thanks, man. Yep. The Phoenix Force. The boys out of Canada. This is This might be the gay dude. This might be when they introduced this gay dude. Dark Phoenix kicking ass and taking. This might be the gay dude that ran a mile in like 4 minutes, 3 minutes and something. That's how they knew he was a mutant. Alpha Flight, yeah, them boys out of Canada. But I don't think this is Alpha Flight. Let me look. No. This is old boy that I could sworn you used that. Used to be blue. Nah. Yeah, this I don't know who this guy is. He's running around with the X-Men now. Bobby Drake in the house. Let's see. He is, Professor, Archangel, Nightcrawler, Iceman, Stacy X, and North Star. North Star out of Canada. Yeah. It's a dope drawing, though. Yeah. Issue 414. Yeah. Let's see, this came out. It's a direct edition. Came out in December 2002. Yeah. Yeah, Hugh Jackman is done with Wolverine, but the Wolverine is not done. Do you know how all the X-Men died in the last movie? You know why? Why they're all dead? With the Wolverine is an old man Logan. You know who killed all of them? Logan. Logan killed them all. Oh, you think they all died by the... No, remember, you're talking about Onslaught. That's why he was doing the whole... Logan is the one that killed him. Onslaught didn't kill everybody. Remember, they got a hold of Onslaught and, fixed it. Onslaught didn't kill everybody. Logan did. Yeah, Onslaught didn't kill everyone. Yeah. Yeah. To my knowledge, but I need to look up Onslaught again, but I don't think he killed everyone. I think they was able to fix him. I think the person that killed everyone was Logan because he thought that they were the enemy. But what happened is Mysterio fooled Logan and made him think that they were all the enemy and he was killing them all till he finally realized that, you know, and he did it in the mansion. So there's, you know, we have to look at that and get that straight. But I know with Mysterio. Mysterio came in and it made it look like the mansion was under attack, but it wasn't under attack. And Wolverine, then he was like, why is nobody answering my call? And Wolverine was he killed all the other X-Men. Oh. Yep. Good old Sarah. Sarah Marrow, Pimple Marrow, one of the Morlocks. Has the bones out from her skin. Yeah, like I said, I have to be clear on that. But I know on one storyline she was or they were killed off by Wolverine. Here's your boy, the one and only Mr. Sinister. Weapon X, issue 14. Weapon X, issue 14. Mr. Sinister to you. The biggest asshole in the universe, Mr. Sinister. They should have just named him Mr. Asshole. Uncanny, issue 410. Yeah. Deadpool, issue 3. Who's the Nasty Boys? What about Magneto? I heard yesterday, Mr. Sinister. I should have known it was you, rookie. Yeah, rookie. Extreme X-Men, issue 18. All the Henchmen. Uncanny, 405. Uncanny X-Men, 405. Wolverine, 118 or 181. I even have a Wolverine Enough Said series. Any of you ever read Enough Said series? This is not it, but Weapon X program, all the Weapon X guys. Deadpool was a part of the Weapon X. I don't have any of the Infinity Wars anymore. Ultimate X-Men 15. I actually have the Ultimates. X Factor with your boy Guido in there. and Sam, Sammy and Guido. Guido is my dude. Farrell, before they killed her off. Guido's my dude all day. Annie. Issue 413. Eve of Destruction, Part 2, X-Men. Issue 112. Came out in 01. The Savage Land, X-Men Extreme. Mr. Sinister. The biggest asshole is Mr. Sinister. No, Rogue. Rogue is the biggest asshole. Rogue is probably the biggest one. Is he? Yeah, maybe Rogue, maybe Magneto. I don't know. Not Rogue, I mean Mystique. Mystique is the biggest asshole. Submariner? That's a big asshole. Yeah. Yeah. You might be right about that one, though. Maybe Red Skull. Oh, what? I don't know. There's so many of them, man. So many of them. But that's just a few of them that I have. Starford, I don't know who that is. It's just a few of them that I have. I'll tell you what I'm going to do, though. I'm going to go ahead and look up some of these real quick and see what they're worth. I hurt myself today. Yeah. Stretch my back out. Got to stretch my back. I hurt myself today. I am logged in. What are you talking about? I'm logged in. He's an idiot, but he's a king. He can bang heads with the best of them, though. You get him wet, it's a bad deal. All right, so I'm going to go to Comic Book Checker. And see what I can find. I hurt myself. Oh, come on, you guys. See, I know you girls. I know you girls. Checker. Comic book guide, free use. Why are you so slow? Oh yeah, Star-Lord is a big asshole. Yeah. Yeah. Star-Lord is a big wiener. Never liked him either. All right, so never liked Star-Lord. Chris Pratt is a perfect person to play him, though. Uncanny X-Men. Let's see if this thing is any good. Found it. Doesn't tell me what it's worth, though. Oh, it's worth the same price I paid for it. $225. Oh, that's a sweat. Huh. Oh, it's just showing me the price. Yeah, let me see something else. I think this might just be showing me Uncanny X-Men. Yeah. No results for my new X-Men. Issue 123. Huh. Check on eBay. Yeah, there it is. Somebody's trying to sell it for $8. Somebody else for $9. The lowest is one. The lowest is $1. What time is it? 12. The lowest is $1. But yeah, somebody's trying to get it on, sell it on eBay. $8, I doubt if you'll get rid of it for $8 on eBay. I just can't see that. That doesn't make any sense to me. So yeah, they're selling, but All right, guys, I'm gonna pull up out of here. I'm hungry and I'm sleepy at the same time. That's not a good combination. God bless you guys, man. I'll probably go live again tomorrow. Sure, whatever to talk about, but you guys, God loves you. 7 games, brother. 7 games.